And the Fordham Rams host the traveling Merrimack Warriors of Merrimack College in both teams' final game of the season. Both teams want to end their season on a high note. The hosting Rams won 2 of their last 3, looking for their 3rd straight win here at home in the friendly confines of the Bronx. And Griff Stevenson, it was a rough start, a slow start for this Ram team at the beginning of the season. They've really picked it up of late.
Yeah, they have, Chris. Definitely getting the momentum back. They're honoring their seniors this afternoon, and I can't think of a better senior to honor, than running back Julius Luffridge. 1,000 yards rushing now on the season, his 2nd straight 1,000-plus yard rushing season. He joins great company, Chris. Joins Chase Edmond, Carlton Kuntz, and Kerwin Watson for that stat line. He's got 3,094 career rush yards. That's 5th in program history. Look for him to have a big afternoon.
Yeah, he's looking for his 8th game straight with a touchdown today. Before the game, me and Griff had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Fordham Rams head coach Joe Conlon. Take a listen. Taking you live before Merrimack Fordham, I'm Chris Carrino, joined with Griffin Stevenson, and we're here having the pleasure of talking to head coach Joe Conlon. Coach, coming off a last game, Julius Luffridge has been an impactful player all season long. It was the 3rd weekend of September, the last time he didn't score a touchdown in a game for you guys. He's on some sort of streak, and just in general, his impact is incredible. Can you just speak to him in this season and just his career overall, just now kind of in the latter portion of it?
Yeah, I mean, Julius was a guy when, as soon as he stepped on campus, we knew he was going to be a special running back for us. He's got great size, speed, he's strong. And really works at it. He's always been a really good athlete, but he's really gotten so much better at playing the position of running back in the last 2 years. He's catching the ball better. He's very good in protection, and it's just a testament to his work ethic. He always gives you everything he has every day, so it's great to get him over 1,000 for the 2nd year in a row, and he was right there in 2022 as well, he and Trey. So, it's just testament to him and the consistent work ethic.
And you just briefly mentioned him catching the ball, just the versatility that comes with him. You've had an interesting situation at quarterback. How much has that helped, just his versatility and what he's able to do back there?
Yeah, I mean, if you're down at quarterback and you don't have your regular guy, and it's kind of a new problem for us because we had Tim for so long and then CJ. So you want to rely on, we don't have, Jack's playing well, but we don't have a guy of like Tim who can put up Tim type numbers at quarterback. Okay, well let's rely on who we have, and you got Juice, and he's been tremendous. So you always know, and you can never be wrong. We tell us to the quarterbacks, it's never a bad idea to hand the ball to Julius because he can make things happen.
Hi, Coach. It was a big win at home last week, 31-3. How have you guys looked to carry that momentum into this week?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about, 1, opportunity to play the game, 2, send our seniors out at home on a high note. Our seniors have done an unbelievable job this year, through a lot of adversity on both sides of the ball, kind of keeping the team focused and energetic and having fun and practicing hard. So they certainly deserve everyone's best effort.
And the freshman, Jalen Dawson, going to receive a bigger role this week at linebacker, obviously one of the younger players in this program. Can you just talk about him, but more generally just the younger side of this program and what they've been able to do just to add a balance to this roster?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen, we think is a super talented kid. Obviously being young, you need to adjust to the speed of the game a little bit. You also need, weight room development time and things like that. But Jalen came in, he had a really good camp. We were feeling great about him. And what he's done, he's made his share of freshman mistakes, but he always manages to get himself around the ball. Very athletic, good hips. He's really, I think the last couple weeks, you see it in practice, fewer mental mistakes and communicating more, and just out there this afternoon he was communicating really well. So excited to see what he can do. Feel really good about he and Christian Black. And I think the young guys we've brought in the last 2 years are better than any classes we've had previously. It's just a matter of getting them up to speed and getting them ready to go.
We mentioned a change there in the linebacker with Jalen Dawson coming into the fray. more generally, you guys give up an average of 174 rush yards a game this season. That's kind of slowed down in the back half of the season, but their running back, Jermaine Corbett, is coming off of a 163-yard performance with a touchdown on 22 attempts. Is there anything differently you guys have done in the back half of the season, particularly this last week of the season, to combat the run specifically?
No, I mean, I think we're just executing the stuff on defense better. Jermaine's a good running back. We saw him last year when he was with Stonehill. He's a good player. So, and, they play hard up front. They got some big tackles. So it's definitely going to be a challenge tomorrow. They use our quarterback in the run game. But, we feel confidently if we execute on defense and we're where we need to be and we can mix in some blitzes and things like that on first and second down, we should be okay.
And briefly mentioned him, we were talking about Julius Luffridge, but Jack Coffey came in unfamiliar and in unusual circumstances this year. He did a good job last week. Can you just speak to him and on and off the field, what the kind of job he's done this season?
Yeah, I mean, Jack's a great kid, a really hard worker. He was mentally, he was right there when he had to take over. But he hadn't gotten a lot of, game reps. So I think it took him a couple weeks just to kind of adjust to the speed of, his reads coming faster and things like that and getting comfortable with that group of receivers he was playing with. But once, you saw him really starting in the Colgate game to kind of calm down and played a really good game against Bucknell. It's just a matter of, we can't turn the ball over. So, he played well last week. So, we're looking just for continued improvement out of Jack.
Thank you, Coach. Coach Joe Conlon getting you set. We'll be right back with Merrimack and Fordham on WFUV Sports. Back here in the Bronx at Moglia Stadium on the campus of Fordham University. Chris Carrino joined by Griff Stevenson. And Griff, talked a little bit before talking to Coach about this Fordham team. Now switching our attention to the Merrimack side of the ball. They're an independent. They play in the FCS Independent, or classified as an FCS Independent, under a first-year head coach, Mike Giannetti, this year. He's not a new face, though. He's been around the program for 20 years, working on the defensive side of the ball. Still calls plays on the defensive side of the ball. Merrimack not having a true defensive coordinator, but coming into this season, 4-6 record, coming off 2 straight losses, a bit under their standard. They've had a third-string quarterback in there most of the season. They've had a transfer running back who I'm sure you're going to talk about, who has been a bit of a revelation for this Warrior squad. But overall, this Merrimack squad, there's a lot of positives to look at, even if at the surface it may not feel that way.
Yeah, Chris, I think you touched on it very well. Definitely underperforming season for both teams coming into this one, but you touched on it there. The senior transfer from Stonehill, the running back, Jermaine Corbett out of Long Branch, New Jersey, he just hit 1,000 rushing yards last week after his 163-yard performance in the loss to Sacred Heart. He had a touchdown there on 22 attempts. It's the first time in his career that he has hit 1,000 rush yards. And I think it's interesting. We talked to Coach Conlon before this one, as you guys heard, bringing in some young guys on the defense like Jalen Dawson, the freshman at middle linebacker. And Fordham has struggled against the run at various points this season. Obviously, when you had Jack Conway and you had that experience, I think it's going to be very hard to replace him. I'm interested to see how Fordham combats the run going into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. A quote before the game from Coach Joe Conlon: we've been able to run the ball and stop the run. When you can do that, you have a chance to win games. Those things so important for them. James Conway out of the lineup for the Rams today. We've seen just how different this defense can look when he's on the field and when he's off it. And like you said, Jalen Dawson sliding into his spot in the middle of the second level at linebacker, and they have a game changer on the other side. On the other sideline, they're going to need to neutralize him today.
Yeah, they definitely are going to need to neutralize him. And we're talking about the young guys, shifting focus back to the Merrimack Warriors. You mentioned third string or backup quarterback there, Aiden Pereira. He's a sophomore out of Auburn, New Hampshire. He came in, he's played every game this season, but going into the year, he did not know that he would be in that starting spot. He's just 8 yards away going into this one from 1,000 yards passing. He also has 432 rush yards on the season, maybe looking to get that 500 rush yards milestone. But we mentioned, honestly, sometimes it comes down to those little details. Fordham, 3 out of their 5 league losses this season were by 5 points or less. And Coach Conlon, after we talked to him, he kind of mentioned when asked about that, said it is just about those small details. But Aiden Pereira of the Warriors, he's got those little details right. Only one interception on the year, and that came last week. Unfortunately for him now, Chris, was a pick six, which you never want to see. But he's been pretty rock solid so far this year, and I'm curious to see how he does against a Fordham secondary with guys like Nail Perkins, who have been pretty locked down when it comes to their passing approach.
Yeah, I think this Merrimack squad is very set on playing a clean game today. I think the cleanliness of their game today really goes to how they'll do when we're winning. We play cleaner football. That was something Janetti said before the game. Also, Fordham's definitely a team that can capitalize on those penalties and mistakes. Giving a lot of credit to this Fordham team, but also giving you a bit of a glimpse into their mindset of how they want to play the game today.
Definitely, I think you touched on it. Merrimack looking to play a clean game. So is Fordham. Coach Mike Janetti, we mentioned it's his first season as head coach. He's been around the team for 20 years at this point. He said for the season, I think he wanted the theme to be steady and consistent in approach. That's a direct quote from him. It's clear that they want continuity throughout the year. And if you want to have continuity throughout the whole season, you got to end on a good note. He says the one thing they want to make sure they do is just go out on a high note, and I think that'll be true from both teams here, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams wanting to end this one on a high note. The Fordham Rams have been playing well of late, 27 points, 31 points in their two last games. That set season highs in both, and it'll be kicked off. We're just set for kickoff here today at Moglia Stadium. The sun is peeking out. As a bit of an overcast this morning. Now the sun is slowly starting to come out as we get toward game time. Fordham Rams in their black jerseys and black pants. A really sharp look, Griff, with their Fordham red helmets matching the Block F Fordham logo on the 50. The Merrimack Warriors wearing dark blue helmets and all white uniforms, white jerseys and white pants, and they'll be kicking it off to start. They'll be going right to left on this Fordham field. It's going to be kicked off by Liam Davis. Liam Davis, the senior from South Africa, a little international flavor to get our afternoon started off today. Back for the Rams, it's KJ Reed, the wide receiver. He had 0 returns last week against Georgetown. He's back there set to get this one, and it'll be kicked off right at the 35-yard line. It'll be kicked through the end zone, and it'll be taken by the Ram offense at the 25, their own 25.
Chris, we haven't mentioned, the starter for Fordham at the QB position, Jack Capaldi. There's been some turmoil for the Rams this year. Obviously, going into the season, it looked like CJ Montez was the guy, and he was for the first 3 weeks until he picked up an injury there, and Capaldi took over, and then we saw in games against Colgate, you had Trip Hawley, but I'm interested to see how Jack Capaldi approaches this one in his final start of the season.
Rams on their own 25. It's Capaldi in the shotgun. Julius Luffridge set up right next to him. 3 receivers to the right. It's going to be a fake handoff and pass over the middle, and it's intercepted right away. This Merrimack defense making an impact, and he's still on his feet. Finally wrestled down right around their own 25. He's going backwards, finally wrestled right around the 30. What a play to start this game off. Trey Jordan, the third from Edgewood, Maryland, on the first play of the game, creating a highlight.
Trey Jordan read that one all the way, Chris. Capaldi trying to go with the quick slant route, and he just jumped on it for his first interception of the year. He's been a staple in this Warriors defense, playing in his 40th game for the program. But we mentioned, Chris, at the start of this one, it's about the little details. You got to play a clean game if you want to come out on top, and that is the absolute worst way that this Fordham Rams team could have started.
No interceptions on the year, only 1 pass breakup on the year. That was definitely one way to start this afternoon for the Warriors. It'll now be the Warriors offense setting up on the Fordham 30.
Yeah, Chris, we mentioned, I think, when you and I were talking about the Colgate game earlier, Fordham's defense kept them in this one, and I think that's the approach you have to have after your offense gives away an early takeaway. You got to go out, and this doesn't change anything. Keep your approach, keep steady. We mentioned some of the new guys coming in, some of the young guns. I'd like to see them try to show their impact, make their appearance known, and try to hold them to maybe no points or just a field goal here.
Yeah, just a field goal here would be ideal for the Rams. Obviously not ideal to give it away on your own 25, your own 30 to start a game off this quickly. And give credit to Merrimack taking advantage of an opportunity that early in the game. Some teams around the country and even in the Patriot League and games we've seen throughout this season, if big opportunities are given to them early in the game, they may not be ready for it. The Warriors were.
Yeah, they definitely were, no doubt about that. They were on their toes, and I think Fordham just started off on the back foot, and that can definitely hurt you. We mentioned that they're in field goal range here. Liam Davis here, he can hit from 53 yards, so Merrimack in no worry about maybe their field goal range. They know they can have a guy that'll split the uprights from a pretty far distance, and that's big, especially as you factor in how they might approach this next sequence.
Yeah, they are in a very good spot, this Merrimack offense. The Fordham defense, we talked about some of the injuries and changes there. They will have a big test here early in this game.
Chris, what are you saying now if you're Coach Conlon here? Because it is very disheartening, and it can just be like you suck all the energy out of a game, and there's only been 18 seconds that have ticked off the clock so far. How do you motivate your guys to go out there?
Well, I think from the player perspective, Griff, there's not really time to compute what had happened. There's not really time to lull on the situation at hand. Almost, as Ted Lasso say, be a goldfish would probably be the best advice I would say that Coach Conlon could give to his squad. It's going to be a stoppage of play. We're going to see what's happening. Both teams huddled up on the field.
Well, both these teams are sort of still huddled up, waiting to take the field officially. We mentioned that this Fordham secondary with Niall Perkins, they get takeaways. And Niall Perkins especially, he leads the Patriot League in interceptions, second in the entire NCAA in pass breakups per game. We mentioned that Pereira maybe doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I'd like to see Fordham get a takeaway now.
It's going to be Aiden Pereira setting up in the shotgun. Jermaine Corbett to his left, one receiver to the left and three receivers to the right. It's going to be a handoff, a outside zone up the right side of the offensive line. Gets stopped right around the 28, and it'll be a 1-yard gain for the Warriors.
Yeah, that's a great job by the Fordham defense there, not allowing Corbett to bounce outside, force him back into the middle, and they keep it for a short gain.
It's going to be 2nd and 8, 2 yards on that gain. 2nd and 8, 14-19 to go in this first quarter. The Merrimack Warriors on the Fordham 27. Once again, Pereira in the shotgun. Corbett to his left. He's going to hand it off on the jet sweep to the receiver. It's going to get a yard or two, just 2 yards there for Jalen McDonald, and it'll set up a 3rd down for the Warriors.
Yeah, trying to get creative to start. I like to see that from Coach Giannetti there. When you can keep this Fordham defense on their toes early, it'll allow for you to maybe have a wider variety of your offensive approach.
Matt Jaworski came off injured. He'll sit out the play. It's Pereira in the shotgun once again. Corbett to his right, standing directly to his right. He'll now go out wide to the right. Corbett throwing right over the middle. It's caught, and it'll be a 1st down for the Merrimack offense inside the Fordham 20.
Yeah, good route there by Seth Schweitzer. Leads the team in receiving yards with 253. Got 2 touchdowns on the year. He runs that little hook route, and he just sits in the zone. Good job by Pereira to just rifle that ball in.
He's now going to set up a 1st down on the Fordham 15. Merrimack seriously threatening. Pereira now going back into the shotgun. It's going to be Corbett to his left. No receivers to one receiver close to the left, close to the line. Another receiver out wide to the right. He'll take the snap, looking to pass. Dancing around in the pocket, now moving right, deciding to run and sliding right on the 10-yard line, and it'll set up a 2nd and 5 for the Merrimack offense.
That's something that the Fordham Rams have to look out for. We mentioned pregame that Pereira has some wheels to him, enters the game with 430 rush yards. He is a mobile guy. The linebackers and the edge rushers have to be aware of him leaking out of the pocket.
It's going to be a 2nd and 7 on the Fordham 12. Pereira in the shotgun again. Once again with Corbett to his left, receiver to the left and right. Gets it snapped to him, a toss to the left. Now moving, not really getting far. Jermaine Corbett taken down right past the 10, say the 9, and it's going to set up another 3rd down for the Warriors.
Yeah, good job there once again by the Fordham defense, sticking with it on the edge. in the absence of Jaworski, trying to just keep the run game to a minimum, and that's what you have to do. Make the Warriors air it out.
Jalen McDonald set up to the left, out wide. It's going to be Pereira once again in the shotgun. Jermaine Corbett to the left. He'll take the snap, give the handoff off to Corbett, run it up the middle, run over a few people, and get stopped right along the 1 yard line, right at the precipice of the goal line, and that's another first down for the Merrimack Warriors.
Yeah, good hard-nosed running there by Corbett. Only 5'9", but you know what they say, Chris. Low man wins, and that's what he did. Lowers his head and just drives those legs and gets Merrimack on the 1 yard line here.
Yeah, Merrimack on the 1 yard line. There be a substitution. Cade Callahan coming out for Jared Dunn at the tight end position. And it'll be Pereira setting it up, giving his signals to his line now, moving back into the shotgun position. Corbett to his right, 2 receivers to his right and 1 to his left. Gonna hand it off once again, and a bunch of flags right on the snap. We'll see what this one is. It's going to be a false start on the offense, and the Merrimack Warriors will move it back slightly.
Yeah, Chris, even if that wasn't a false start call, almost every single defensive lineman there for the Rams went unblocked. It would not have been a pretty sight for Corbett there as he looked to get the touchdown. But now there's a little more space for the Warriors. I'd like to see what they do now. Perhaps look for Pereira to maybe even use his wheels, roll out, because then you have the option of either passing it or running for that pylon, Chris.
It's going to be 1st and 6 for this Merrimack team on the Fordham 6. Once again, Pereira in the shotgun. He's going to pass it to his right. It's going to be a sweep play and a fumble. Ball is loose, a scrumble on the ground. It's going to be coughed up by Cade Callahan, and the Fordham Rams have the ball. Fordham Rams get the second turnover of this game and turn this game on its head once again. Jalen Dawson, we talked about him in the pregame. He comes up with that ball into the jumping, adulated arms of his Fordham sideline.
How about that, Chris? We said it's in the details. The freshman tight end there, not a lot of playing time. Cade Callahan for the Warriors gets the swing pass, and he just coughs it up. And I love to see the young guy, the freshman Jalen Dawson, being aware, diving on that ball. I thought Merrimack for a second was going to be able to recover that, but it just popped out when one of their players dove on it, and it was a great heads-up play by Dawson to get it back for the Fordham Rams. And we mentioned what would be the perfect way that this Rams team can bounce back, and it's getting the takeaways.
Yeah, Cade Callahan moved out wide on a screen to catch that one, coughs it up, and the Fordham Rams will have it. They have it on their own, it seems like their own 10-yard line. It's going to be a run to start off the drive. Julius Luffridge going on the right side of the line, taken down after about 3 yards, setting up second down. Ball on now the Fordham 15.
Yeah, Luffridge is a guy, as he's coming out here, that you can just feed the ball. He's been an absolute staple for this Rams team.
It's going to be Capaldi setting up in the shotgun. It's going to be Jacob Rodriguez to his right. He's going to hand it off to Rodriguez. He'll go up the middle and stopped in the backfield. Impressive stop. DJ Frazier on the tackle there, and Merrimack, more stops for this Merrimack defense.
Yeah, Chris, I think there might have been a miscommunication there. Merrimack getting good pressure off that right side. Hank Perry, usually such a good right tackle option, but forgot to block his man there as they take down Jacob Rodriguez in the backfield.
It's going to be 3rd and 12, ball on the Fordham zone 9. It's going to be Capaldi in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his left, 1 receiver to his right. Rodriguez set up directly to his right. He'll take the snap in the backfield. He's going to look left to throw, and sacked, smothered in the backfield, and the Merrimack defense getting a sack right on the goal line and forcing the turnover.
It was both edge rushers there for Merrimack. Nicholas Lennon and Jay Thompson coming in on either side, as Lennon makes it 9 sacks on the year and Jay Thompson makes it 6. Nearly a safety, Chris. But what I'm seeing so far in this one is Fordham has got to lock down those edge rushers. And now, because they're so far back in their own end zone, Will Hazlitt is going to have a really tight angle to make this punt.
Yeah, it's going to be Will Hazlitt in the back of the end zone to send this one off. It'll be Gary Rosemond Jr. back right around the Block F Fordham logo at the 50 to get this one, and it's blocked! In the back of the end zone, it's blocked! Still waiting for a referee's signal. It's going to be a scrum in the back of the end zone, and a safety is signaled by the referee in the end zone. A safety for the Merrimack Warriors. This defense has been nothing but fireworks to start this game off.
Yeah, and once again, it's a blocking issue for the Fordham Rams, but we touched on it. Will Hazlitt was basically punting from under his own goalpost, and when you don't have enough space, it allows for the defense to get to you quicker. And honestly, Chris, that's kind of the best case scenario when you have a block kick for the Fordham Rams, that it goes out of bounds for a safety. Lucky that they didn't get a touchdown against them. But Fordham has got to clean up these intangibles if they want to be successful in their final game of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. The intangibles have not been there to start. This Merrimack defense has really come up big. They have had some trouble in the last couple weeks now, really making a stand and showing this Fordham crowd what they can do.
The Warriors, very, very, very good start here as they look to take the field on offense once again, coming off the safety. I liked their balanced approach that they had in their first drive. We haven't got to see them from a full field look yet, but I would imagine it would be similar to a balanced attack of running and passing here, using the threat of Corbett, trying to suck the Fordham defense in, and then Aiden Pereira letting it fly deep to some of his guys like Jalen McDonald or Seth Schweitzer.
Yeah, this Merrimack offense hasn't seen the negative side of the 50 yet so far. Trey Jordan getting an interception on the very first play of this game, and then obviously the safety just there on the punt block. This Merrimack offense now finally setting up for a full drive.
As Bennett Henderson comes out to kick this one off for the Fordham Rams, we mentioned intangibles. Kicked it out of bounds 5 times this season. Kicked it out of bounds once last week in the win against Georgetown. Look to limit the penalties on this kickoff.
Yeah, it will be Bennett Henderson on the kickoff. He'll kick it off from the Fordham 20. It'll be taken by the Warriors, and not fair caught. He'll run it out from the 15, going down the far sideline, finally taken down right around the 35-yard line. They'll set up there for this Warrior offense.
Good decision to take it out, Chris. You gain an extra 10 yards as opposed to if you went for the fair catch, and now this Fordham defense will take the field. Feeling a little bit of momentum off the takeaway on the last drive. I'd like to see them repeat that same aggressiveness there. They did a good job of protecting the edges of the field, keeping this Warriors offense between the sticks. I'd like to see them continue to replicate that on this drive.
They're going to take a little break, so we'll take a little break here from Moglia Stadium. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're your broadcasters for the 2024 Fordham football season.
The Rams chase a Patriot League title led by league-leading quarterback C.J. Montez and a host of talent, including James Conway, Niall Perkins, and Garrett Cody.
You can catch all of the games this season right here on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page.
WFUV Sports, your home for Fordham football.
Back here in the Bronx at Moglia Stadium, it's a 2-0 game in this Fordham football game. Fordham football hosting the Merrimack Warriors. The Merrimack Warriors getting a safety on the last punt attempt from the Fordham Rams in their own end zone, and now they're setting up for the offensive drive preceding it.
Yeah, Chris, trying to limit the damage coming off of the safety. We mentioned, I want to circle back again to Aiden Pereira. I want to talk about the rushing threat that he brings, because when you're a defense and you're facing a quarterback that you know can scramble out of the pocket and rush for nearly 500 yards in a season like he has, that's always going to be in the back of your mind, and that's something that you can use to your advantage if you're Merrimack. Try to get them second-guessing themselves and create looks, especially over the middle when you expose those linebackers in the passing game, and if not, just take off with it, Aiden.
It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Merrimack offense. Ball on their own 34. It'll be Pereira setting up in the shotgun. One receiver to his right, three to his left. And it'll be Jermaine Corbett, the Stonehill transfer, set up to his right. There's some debris on the field. They're fixing the ball, moved slightly. They're fixing that as well. And we're going to set up same formation. Now the one receiver from the right moving toward the line. And they'll hike it. It'll be a run right up the middle for Corbett. He'll break off a few tackles and eventually get taken down right at the 40.
Corbett there just brushing off defenders in the middle, biding his time. Guys, if you're the Fordham defense, you cannot be doing single-arm tackles there, especially in the middle of the field. You got to wrap up if you want to even think about taking down Corbett.
Absolutely. Another offensive play here for the Warriors. It'll be Pereira in the shotgun once again. 3 receivers to his left, 2 receivers to his right. He'll take the snap, looking over the middle, throws it over the middle, just slightly out of the hands of Jermaine Corbett, and it'll set up another 3rd down for the Merrimack Warriors.
Warriors trying to get Corbett involved now in the receiving game. He has caught the ball a fair amount this season, 11 receptions for 204 yards on the year.
A true dual threat.
A true dual threat. You said it best, Chris. And for me, when I look at this Merrimack offense, it might just be the dual threat offense, and that is very hard to combat if you're the Fordham Rams defense.
It's Pereira in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his left, 2 receivers to his right, in a lonely backfield, all alone. Jet sweep to the left, now running up the left. Jermaine Corbett picking up a few yards, finally stopped at around the 47.
How about that, Chris? 3 plays in this drive, and they've used Corbett in all 3 of them, and they've used him differently in every single one of those plays. A reception, a standard run up the middle, and now a jet sweep. Really trying to get creative and keep this Rams defense on their toes. If you're the guys like Jaworski and John Scott on that defensive end, I'm sure you're looking and just trying to read the play before it gets going.
It'll be Pereira in the shotgun once again. Corbett to his right. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. It'll be Jared Dunn moving in motion right to left. It'll be a handoff and a reverse. Handed off, now moving toward the right, up the field, past the 50, past the 40, finally taken down at the 30. Jalen McDonald receiving it on the reverse, and another massive play for this Merrimack team.
Great run there by Jalen McDonald on the reverse. Mike Giadetti is just reaching into his bag of tricks here in the first quarter, and this Fordham Rams defense is not expecting anything that he's throwing at them, Chris.
It's going to be a 1st and 10, ball on Fordham's 31. It'll be shotgun for Pereira once again. Corbett to his right, 3 receivers to his right, and it'll be a handoff to the left. It'll be busted out on the left sideline and taken past the 20, finally stopped at the 10. It wasn't Jermaine Corbett, it was his backup, Brandon Wyatt, the Gaithersburg, Maryland native, and the sophomore gets a big run, a 1st down inside the 10 for the Warriors.
Yeah, Chris, there what I saw on that one as Brendan Wyatt went outside is Fordham continues to struggle with the open field tackles, and I think that's an unfortunate one. A guy like Niall Perkins, 6'1", 180, when you try to open field tackle the sophomore Brendan Wyatt, who's 5'11", 195, you're going to struggle, and he's able to break free and get a big gain down that left-hand side.
Jermaine Corbett, he'll come back in, now set up at the left of Pereira in the shotgun. He'll fake the handoff, now run directly up the middle, getting past a few people, finally taken down on the 1-yard line, possibly the 2-yard line, and another 1st down for the Merrimack Warriors defense, or Merrimack Warriors offense.
Pereira always a rushing threat, and now the Merrimack Warriors back on the 1-yard line. You would think this is such a favorable spot to be in, and it is, but remember, they were here last drive, and it ended with a takeaway for the Fordham Rams.
It's actually going to be 2nd down. It's a 1st down on the 1-yard line, 2nd and 1, not quite 2nd and goal. Ball on the 1. It'll be Pereira setting up in the shotgun once again. Mateus Latham, 3rd string, running back to his left. He has Jermaine Corbett right behind him. He'll give it to him running left, getting on the goal line and sneaking in. Jermaine Corbett with the touchdown and bringing this Merrimack lead out to 9 with a chance with a kick 10.
Well, classic football fans are going to love that when they bring in the backup 3rd-string running back, number 34, Mateus Latham, and he acts as a sort of quasi-fullback there, just leading the way for Corbett there. And it was just good, hard-nosed football as Corbett drives that one in past the Fordham defense for their first touchdown of the game.
Liam Davis will take the extra point. He's 24 for 25 on the year on extra points. He'll take this one. The snap was low. It still managed to go through the uprights. Liam Davis gets it to go, and he brings Merrimack's lead to 9. It's a 9-0 lead, just under 5 minutes to go in this first quarter, and the Fordham Rams falling behind here early.
Falling behind here early, and that's the theme of Fordham's season in the games that they lose, unfortunately, Chris. But how about that drive from the Merrimack Warriors? Lightning fast, a quick offensive approach, utilizing that run game, utilizing their running back in 3 different ways, utilizing their quarterback in different ways, utilizing all 3 of their running backs on that drive. They are getting such a diverse option, a plethora of looks here on the offensive side of the ball, and it's really hard to adjust then if you're the defense of the Fordham Rams and you're Coach Conlon trying to analyze this one. But now Fordham has to come back here, and they really need a response now as we enter below midway through this first quarter.
And we talked a little bit about him earlier in this game, Griff, but Julius Luffridge, someone they really got to get going if they want anything productive on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit in the beginning. 1,000 rush yards on the year. Mentioned it'll be his 8th game in a row with a touchdown if he scores here. I mean, that's amazing production from your running back, and you couldn't really ask for anything more as a coach. Last week at home against Georgetown in the win, he had 91 yards and a touchdown. Got to get him back to those production levels. He's averaging 104 rush yards a game. We knew coming into this one that it would be a duel between Luffridge and Corbett. I'd like to see Coach Conlon let Luffridge enter that battle. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like he hasn't even, if we were in the Roman Coliseum, Chris, Corbett's out, he's got his sword, he's got his shield, he's hyping up the crowd, and they still got Julius Luffridge behind the fence. They haven't let him free to do battle, so let's get him involved in this one.
Julius Luffridge, when he's involved, it usually means good things for this Ram team. This Ram team has had some offensive weapons throughout this season. Garrett Cody, he's been fantastic as the season has went along. Cole Thornton, he leads the team in almost every receiving stat. They have weapons on the offensive side of the ball. It's the opportunity that's the important part.
And Conlon said he wants to get the older guys involved, especially as it's the last game of the season. So I'd look to see maybe Jack Capaldi letting it fly, especially deep down the field for guys like Garrett Cody and Cole Thornton as Merrimack is set to kick off here.
Yeah, it'll be Merrimack set to kick off. Liam Davis out there once again, the South African native, set to kick it off on their own 35. It'll be Reed back to receive it for the Rams. KJ Reed receiving it at Fordham's own 5-yard line, taking it down the near sideline, and finally getting taken down right around the 15.
A lot to be desired there, I think, Chris, from his lead blockers potentially just trying to find that open space, and he kept getting pushed out by the defensive unit there on the kickoff from Merrimack. Gets to about the 24, 23, about where you would get with a fair catch, but can't think about that now. The Rams just have to respond on offense.
Yeah, Rams need a response on offense. 9-0, 4:46 to go in this first quarter. The Fordham Rams take it on their own 18. Fordham's 18, 1st and 10. It'll be Capaldi in the shotgun, Luffridge to his right. It'll be Matt Byrne moving in motion right to left. Receivers on both sides. Luffridge taking it right up the gut and taking it right around the 20 for a couple of yards.
Sorry, Chris, that's actually Ricky Parks now, the junior out of Tampa, Florida. We saw him a lot more earlier on in the season. He's been replaced in the last few games by Jacob Rodriguez, but he's getting back into things. Got 259 yards on the season. He's someone who can definitely produce, but a noticeable absence of Luffridge.
Yeah, Luffridge out, a 3-man running back rotation for the Fordham Rams. 2 receivers on both sides. Parks back there once again. He's set to throw, throws it down the left sideline, and it's incomplete. Seemingly off the helmet of Trey Jordan III, playing great defense there, and a flag on the far sideline. See if that one is some sort of unsportsmanlike penalty. You would assume it would be.
Chris, after that one, after good coverage there by Jordan, Mekhi Felton, the captain for Fordham Rams wide receiver, was not happy about the contact there. He kept a little bit of animosity going towards the end of that one, and they're going to penalize him there. Again, it's all in the details, and when you're down by 9 here in the first quarter, You can't be making those sort of seemingly simple mistakes, but it's easy to get frustrated when you're playing from behind like this, Chris.
Fordham on their own 20, 2nd and 8. Capaldi setting up in the shotgun once again. Receivers on both sides. Ricky Parks to the left of him. And some substitutions made by Merrimack here on their defensive line. Now Capaldi set to take the snap. Now does. Hands it off. Parks moving on the right side of the line past the 15, getting set down right around the 17, setting up a 4th down play for this Rams team.
I can see what the Rams are trying to go for there with their rushing approach, trying to connect those second-level blocks, but it always seems like one man on the defensive side of the ball for the Warriors is being missed, and he's getting to the ball, and they're tackling well, and it's going to lead to another, not turnover on downs, but another 3 and out here for the Fordham Rams. They got to find a way to pick up the pace.
Senior Will Hazlitt back to kick it for the Rams, kicking another one deep in Fordham territory. He's set right at the goal line. He's got 3 blockers in front of him. It's going to be Jalen McDonald set up to receive this one right past the Block F Fordham logo, and a bunch of flags on the hike. And it's going to be a timeout called. That one will be with the Rams. It'll be Joe Conlon asking to take a break. We'll take a break as well with the players. 3:22 to go in this first quarter. The Merrimack Warriors lead the Fordham Rams on the road 9-0. We'll be right back with Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hey everybody, it's Lou Orlando, one of your broadcasters for Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM. Treat yourselves this Thanksgiving. The Rams travel to Daytona Beach, Florida for the highly anticipated Sunshine Slam next week. So mark your calendars. Fordham bows Penn State on Monday, November 25th at 4 p.m. before facing the winner of Clemson and San Francisco in the afternoon on Tuesday, November 26th. Both games will be broadcast live on the WFUV Sports YouTube page. Don't miss 2 of the biggest matchups of the season. WFUV Sports is the home of Fordham basketball.
Will Hazlitt punts it off to the Merrimack 46 and gets this Merrimack offensive drive started. 3:12 to go in the Bronx. The Merrimack Warriors leading the Fordham Rams 9-0 here at Moglia Stadium in the Bronx. It'll be once again Pereira and his offense coming out to maybe add even more points to this lead for the Warriors.
When we looked at this roster on the Merrimack offense, their wide receivers, they don't really have a star guy, and they've really relied on their rush game. I'd like to see if they maybe let the ball fly deep in this drive here, Chris.
Pereira in the shotgun. It's going to be Corbett going out wide to the left. It'll be Pereira running it up the middle, stiff-arming somebody, and finally getting taken down at the 45, getting pushed back all the way to the 40.
That is great gang tackling there by the Fordham Rams, but how about that? The strength there from Aiden Pereira, 6 foot, 200 pounds, a pretty bulky quarterback, and I want to point out something at the end of that play. While the Fordham Rams did a good job of all circling up and wrapping up on Pereira, there was a late tackle there, and they weren't penalized for it this time, but the refs are looking to protect their quarterback, so they got to make sure not to make any miscues here.
Pereira in the shotgun, receivers to his left and right. It'll be a handoff to Corbett going left, getting stopped quickly right around the 45, and 2 good defensive plays there for the Rams.
Well, Chris, I think Niall Perkins might have heard me when I mentioned his size in one-on-one tackling there. He did a great job that time of just meeting Corbett at the point of contact and wrapping up, driving his feet, and taking him down. Good job there in that secondary of getting those tackles, preventing the yardage from the Warriors.
It's going to be a 3rd down for the Merrimack Warriors offense, 3rd and 10, ball on their own 46, 1:55 to go in this first quarter. Merrimack still holding on to a 9-0 lead. Pereira in the shotgun. He's got Brendan Wyatt to his left. Actually, no, it's Jermaine Corbett coming in. He'll be to his left, and it'll be a whistle. Timeout called from Merrimack. They want to resituate their offense. And a big opportunity for Merrimack here, but an even bigger opportunity for this Fordham defense to get a stop still in Merrimack territory, Griff.
A huge third down, for both teams. And I like what the Rams defense has done so far in this drive. Before we mentioned it was just quick momentum-led drives by the Merrimack Warriors, but Fordham is now forcing them to play at their own pace, doing a good job of limiting the big gains. And we mentioned that the Warriors have kind of leaned on their run game, and they're in a position now where they're going to have to throw the ball downfield, and that plays into Fordham's hands a little bit with their strong secondary with the likes of Perkins and Alex Kemper there. So let's see what approach the Warriors come out with. But one thing we touched on a little bit, I'd be looking for Pereira to run with it. They've relied on the run game, like we said, and if there's no receivers open downfield, he could just sneak out of the pocket and get a big gain, and that would be killer for this Rams defense.
Pereira's running has been effective. He's set up in the shotgun. It'll be receiver to his left, Miles Wilson, 2 receivers to his right, and a running back set directly to his right. Corbett moving right. He'll fake the run, now pass it, and it's fired in and completed right short of the 35, set right around the 33, and it'll be just short of the first down marker, but past the 50.
Nearly dropped there by the transfer from Wagner, wide receiver number 17, Trevor Shorter, but his forward progress is going to make it a relatively short 4th down, and Merrimack is going to punt here. I like that coverage from the Fordham Rams. They let them get the reception, but not letting them get that first down yardage.
Yeah, it's going to be a punt right on Merrimack's own 48, 4th and 1. It'll be Cole Peterson back to send this off for Merrimack. And it'll be another timeout called on the field. Both of these coaches realizing just how pivotal of a moment this is in the game.
I wonder if Coach Giannetti for the Warriors is maybe thinking about going for this. You got the 9-point lead here. It's only the first quarter, but you are in Fordham's half of the field now. Maybe looking to go for this, especially with their success in the run game. Chris, while both of these teams are in a timeout here, I highlighted and mentioned Alex Kemper. I want to talk about him and Trey Bradford's play from last week at Georgetown. Many people saw it was highlighted across the nation. Trey Bradford picked off the ball and pulled a hammy. Tossed it right to Alex Kemper, who ran it nearly 70 yards back for the touchdown. But I bring it up because they were honored together with the Pop-Tarts Crazy Play of the Week. I did not know that was a thing, Chris. They got interviewed by Lou Orlando. They had a whole wall of Pop-Tarts behind them. But that's fun. Those are the fun plays you look for here in a football game. And those are the momentum plays that this Rams team needed, I think, to just get some positivity going with this season going how it has been.
And we've seen a lot already in this first quarter between an interception, a forced fumble, a reverse sweep. It has been an eventful first quarter. It'll be a punt. They aren't going to go for it. They are going to stay conservative, and Cole Peterson will trot back out there once again to set it off, and he'll punt it right on their own 40. He'll send it back to the Rams. The Rams going to let it fly through the back of the end zone and take it as a touchback. Fordham offense will set up.
Fordham offense, big sequence for them. Capaldi trying to get something going. I'm curious to see, Chris, if Luffridge will take the field. We saw him go out of the game 2 drives ago after picking up a couple yards there, and it's worrying for the Fordham Rams now if he's not in. And actually we see Jacob Rodriguez will come back into the game. So once again, no Julius Luffridge, and that's a tough blow. We'll see what happens, but that's harsh for the Fordham Rams offense.
Capaldi set up in the shotgun, 1 receiver to his left, 3 to his right. He's got the halfback set up to his right, and he'll hand it off there. He'll get stopped right around the line of scrimmage for no gain, and he'll set up 2nd down.
Going back to Julius Luffridge's absence, Chris, he's a guy that many have said has the talent to maybe play beyond or, expand on his abilities. I wonder if maybe it's a precautionary leaving out.
Capaldi in the shotgun once again. Rodriguez to his right, 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. 2nd and 10, ball on their own 20. Just 20 seconds to go in this first quarter. He sends it off in the flat to Rodriguez on the right, and he'll pick it up for a small gain out to the 25.
Well, they're using that speed of Jacob Rodriguez there on that little out route. Good tackle there by the Merrimack Warriors, but I like this variety. They're shaking things up as a big third down comes up here for this Rams offense.
Yeah, 3rd and 5 for the Rams offense on their own 25 right at the end of this first quarter. It'll actually tick off at the end of this first quarter. That will be it for us here after one from the Bronx. The Fordham Rams trail the Merrimack Warriors 9-0 after one quarter. We'll be right back with action from the second quarter and the rest of this game. But first, we send it to the Rose Hill Studios for a score update from Frank Spicuzza.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
While there's nothing but action on the turf at Moglia, the Patriot League itself is aflame with motion before the impending tournament. Lehigh and Lafayette face off at the Mountain Hawks' own Goodman Stadium, with the Leopards trailing Lehigh 7-28 at the half. Heading south, Holy Cross rolls to Georgetown, a match that is certainly going in favor of the Crusaders, as they lead G-Town 20-0 halfway through the second. Next is the timeless matchup between Colgate and Bucknell, a game originally slated towards the Bison, a prediction that has been blown apart since the Raiders are toppling Bucknell 7-3. FCS football aside, there's also a cornucopia of top 25 games today, as we have a hefty Midwest showdown between the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes holding a 14-7 grip over the undefeated Hoosiers. Later this evening, the NCAA season-leading rushers and New York's own number 18 ranked Army fights the 6 Irish of Notre Dame at 7. With a full plate of college sports to gnaw on, I'll be back at the end of the third to take a glance at all of New York sports. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Frank Spicuzza.
Now getting set for the second. Rams trailing 9-0 over the Warriors of Merrimack here in both teams' final game of the 2024 season. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by Griff Stevenson. And Griff, Fordham on the scoreboard, it hasn't been exciting necessarily for this Fordham team, but there's been some good signs, and the scoreboard maybe isn't as accurate as it has been on the field.
Well, Chris, I think the takeaway you have to take from that first quarter is that the defense has been solid. Despite trailing 9-0, they haven't really been done any favors by their offensive side of the ball, and that's something that they need to change here as we head into that second quarter. It's a big third down for the Rams upcoming here. I'd like to see them get that passing game involved. As we mentioned, you got the guys like Garrett Cody, Cole Thorne. They tried to let it fly to Mekhi Felton earlier when he picked up the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but I'd like to see Jack Coffey get it out of his hands and get it out of his hands early, Chris.
It's going to be a big 3rd and 5 for this Rams offense. Ball is on the 25, on their own 25, and it'll be the start of the second quarter. Julius Luthridge has been missing in action, MIA for this Fordham offense. He is maybe one of, if not the biggest cornerstone on this Fordham team. First in the Patriot League in rushing yards, 1,042 rushing yards, along with the most yards per game, and he's 3rd in touchdowns. So really at the top of the list in most of the Patriot League's rushing stats, and we haven't seen him much out there. It's going to be Jacob Rodriguez out there now for the Fordham offense. Big third down. Capaldi set up in the shotgun. Rodriguez to his right, 2 receivers on both sides. Set up in the shotgun. He's going to take the snap, deep in the pocket, throwing it right, and just overthrowing Rodriguez by a couple yards, and it'll set up another 4th down for Fordham.
Once again, there's an unblocked man screaming down that left-hand side on the edge for the Warriors. It doesn't give Jack Capaldi any time. Tried to throw it up to Jacob Rodriguez there. It was overshot. He wasn't quite there, couldn't meet the ball at the point. But either way, he was throwing up a jump ball to a 5'9" running back. I don't necessarily think that would have worked out either way.
Cole Peterson set to kick this one off. He's on his own 10. Ball set up on the 25. And he'll send this one off. Ball is muffed on the Merrimack 20, eventually jumped on. I believe that was running back Jermaine Corbett having some trouble with that punt, and almost a huge turnover for the Rams.
Yeah, that could have been big, Chris. If Fordham gets possession of the ball on Merrimack's own 16-yard line, that could change this game completely. But now they're still put deep in their own half here, and the Fordham defense, as we mentioned, has been solid. They're going to need to get a stop here, Chris.
That was the first time we saw Corbett out there to receive a kickoff or a punt. It had been Jalen McDonald and Gary Rosemont Jr. up to this point in the game. Maybe throwing him out there cold might not have been the best option. It's now going to be Merrimack setting up deep in their own territory at the 17.
Corbett doing it all.
Really
at
doing it
this
all.
point. He's running, he's catching. Maybe not so receiving kickoffs well, or punts well, excuse me. But he's a really big tool guy, utility guy for this Warriors offense. And now he might be involved here more so. Fordham defense has to contain this Warriors offense. They've set up this run game very, very well. We talk about when you set up the run game well, they haven't really used the play action, Chris, the Warriors. I would dare to say that could work very, very well, and that this Fordham Rams defense might not be expecting it, as these guys are focused a little more on Corbett, and you have some of the youngsters on the defensive side of the ball, like Jalen Dawson.
Especially with such a threat at the run position already kind of established in your offense, that play action could be even more effective. This Fordham defense, it was interesting, something you said earlier, this Fordham defense hasn't played that bad. They aren't even necessarily playing a bad game at all. It's 9-0 on the scoreboard, but just through some nefarious different experiences, through random different moments, this Fordham team has had some bad defensive moments, but nothing really that has to fault or blame this defense.
Especially as we've gotten into the back half of the season, it's kind of seemed like that's been the same story.
Yeah.
You come away from the games being like, the Fordham defense played well, and then you go on the stat sheet and you're like, well, they gave up 200 rush yards and 200 passing yards. It's tough for this Rams defense out here.
1st and 10, ball on their own 17, 14:46 to go in this first half. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. It'll be Jermaine Corbett set up directly to his right in the shotgun. Pereira going to run it right away up the middle, past the 25, finally getting tackled down at the 26. A long play there on first down, setting up a 2nd and short.
That's a good job there by Drew Minch, stopping the run of Aiden Pereira as they go back to that QB draw for the 3rd time. Coach Capaldi had a little bit to say about Drew Minch. He said, Drew's a guy that on every special team and we think has a tremendous future. They obviously are very positive and confident in his abilities. He showed it there. Good, strong nose tackle for the Fordham Rams.
3 receivers to the right. Pereira once again in the shotgun. Corbett to his right. He'll give the handoff, and Corbett will run left, evading a few defenders, getting the first down, getting stopped right around the Merrimack 29.
Corbett doing all he needs to do there. 2nd and short, just pick up that first down. Give your offense a fresh set of downs there. And now the Merrimack Warriors will look to get another string of plays together as they try to drive down here early in the 2nd quarter.
1st and 10, ball on Merrimack's own 29. It'll be Pereira out there once again for this Merrimack offense, set up in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Corbett set up to his left. Now moving to his right. He'll take the snap. It'll be a fake handoff. He'll escape the pocket, moving left, moving up the field, past the 40, past the 50, finally getting taken down, past the 40. Aiden Pereira with a huge play on his legs.
Pereira sits back, looks for the pass, does a great job of recognizing that space on the left-hand side of the field, picked up a couple of blockers, evaded a couple of tackles. Great job showing off that speed, showcasing his mobility there, and he's approaching that 500-yard mark in this one, Chris. It looks like he might hit it. A multi-tool quarterback, and he has been dominant so far in this one.
1st and 10, ball on Fordham's own 40. It'll be Pereira in the shotgun once again. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Corbett set up directly to his right, and he'll take the handoff, moving left, and stop deep in the backfield and call it set up right around the 44.
One thing I noticed on that play, Chris, we saw them do the reverse earlier. This time they sent the receiver in motion behind Corbett, like there could be a potential reverse on that one, trying to trick the Fordham defense. Once again, this time they don't opt to pitch it, and Fordham does not fall for it.
Will actually be on Fordham's 42, 2nd and 13. Pereira will set up for the 2nd and long. Corbett in the backfield with him, along with Jared Dunn, the tight end, set up in the fullback role. Corbett set up to the right of Pereira. Receivers on both sides. A fake handoff going left, and Pereira will run it up the gut, getting stopped right past the 40. just getting back to the line of scrimmage, and it'll set up a 3rd and long for the Warriors.
Pereira trying to run it again. He comes out of that one a little banged up. He should be fine, but that's something you do have to worry about if you're going to run with your quarterback this much. Don't want to get him hurt. You can't afford to have that in this one. Another thing I'm noticing, after seemingly every single one of these plays, whether it's Jaworski on the edge or Perkins at the corner, a lot of extracurriculars after the play between both teams, Chris.
A lot of extracurriculars. Last game of the season. It has that sort of energy. 3rd and 10, big 3rd down for Merrimack on the Fordham 39. Pereira in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Corbett set up to his right. He'll receive the hike, move out right. Just enough to get back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more. And this Fordham defense hyped on the sideline. Drew Minich on the tackle. And they'll force a punt from the Merrimack Warriors.
Yeah, great job once again. We talked about him earlier. Another good attack by Drew Minich. If they would have got that first down, it would have been called back anyway for a hold on Matt Jaworski. That's the sort of impact that the 6'5", 260-pound edge rusher can have. Very hard to contain. Once again, Conlon said that Drew Minich, he's attacked this game, and he's got a great attitude about it, and that's exactly what you could see, hyped up after every play, chasing the ball. But Fordham's actually going to accept that penalty, Chris. They're not going to let them get the 4th down.
Yeah, maybe thinking the field position could be better with another stop here. Now a 3rd and long for the Merrimack offense. 3rd and 20, ball on the Merrimack 49 now, moving negatively on the other side of the 50. Right on the smack dab middle of the Block F logo. Pereira in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his right, 2 receivers to his left. Empty backfield. Receives the snap. Looks left to right. Makes a dump-off pass to a tight end. Ends up getting a bunch of positive yards. Still can't make a tackle. He gets all the way out past the 45. Jared Dunn, the Sandy Hook, Connecticut native. A big play there. Not quite enough to get the first down, but definitely made up for some ground.
Yeah, Fordham opts to accept the penalty, trying to drive them back, but Merrimack now ends up in a better position with better yardage than they had originally. It looks like they're going to go for it here now that they've got that 4th and 5 look, and you got to question maybe the decision, playing with fire there if you're the Fordham coaching staff.
Aiden Pereira, a few other of his teammates with hands on their hips, waiting to see what call will be made from the sideline. A real chance to get bold here with Mike Giannetti having a 4th down decision. He'll decide to punt it off, I believe, taking off his offense.
Yeah, they eat a delay of game penalty there. I wonder, you have a guy in Liam Davis that can hit for 53. This would be a little longer than that. Now it looks like with the punt unit out, with Cole Peterson for the Warriors, just going to try and pin back this Fordham Rams offense, not give them any sort of good field position to start.
Yeah, Peterson set up on his own 45. Set off to kick this punt away. It'll be taken for a fair catch right around the 20, Fordham's own 20, and that'll set up the Fordham offense.
Yeah, short punt there by Cole Peterson. Fun fact about the punter there for the Merrimack Warriors, his grandpa Pete actually played 1 year at the University of Alabama. So
wow.
Roll Tide in the Peterson family there. He's got his new career high as well with 1,822 total yards. So it's been a good season for him so far.
An eventful season for him. He's seen a lot of field time this year. This Fordham team struggled in the beginning of the season, and he was out there a lot. It's now Fordham and Merrimack setting up in big scrums on their respective sidelines. Fordham still in their all black, blacked out uniforms. Fordham red on the helmet with white face mask, and Merrimack on the other side, all white uniforms in real away fashion with dark blue helmets. A great jersey game today on a beautiful afternoon here in the Bronx, Griff.
We thought for a second, Chris, that they might have been running out with black helmets. How cool would that have been?
That would have been a game changer, Griff. That would have been, dare I say, life-changing.
I think black helmets alone, it's a tie game.
Yeah, might add 9 or 10 or so points. Still 9-0 on the scoreboard. A weird score. We had a safety earlier in this game on a blocked punt deep in the end zone where Merrimack got on the scoreboard, capitalized on it with a touchdown. Both offenses been relatively quiet ever since.
Yeah, it's never a simple game, Chris, with this Fordham Rams team. And again, it goes back to the offense. Can't quite get things going, but now here's an opportunity. Got 9.5 minutes left in the half. You're down 9, as we mentioned. Get a solid drive going. Take a chunk off the clock. Get your guys going. I know right now there's some questions about Luffridge, but to be honest, Jacob Rodriguez and Ricky Parks have been doing a solid job filling that in. They just got to get the ball moving downfield more. Do what the Warriors are doing. Take a page out of their book. String together those plays. Limit the pressure on Capaldi, and I think you're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, I think the pressure has been adamant on Capaldi all game long. He has been receiving a lot of company in that backfield. He ended the last series on a sack, protecting him along with just some versatility. There's a lot of great offensive weapons for this Fordham team between Mekhi Felton and Garrett Cody along with Cole Thornton. They need to get those guys involved through the air. It'll be a 1st and 10 for the Ram offense deep in their own territory. Ball on the Fordham 20 will be Capaldi set up in the shotgun, giving it off to Rodriguez. He'll run left side of the line and be taken down right on the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard or two to gain.
Getting absolutely stuffed there was Rodriguez, just trying to get that yardage going. Nothing moving. It's a battle in the trenches right now, and it's a battle that the Merrimack defensive line has been winning so far.
It's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Fordham offense. Capaldi in the shotgun, ball on their own 20. Same spot. It's Rodriguez set up directly next to him. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Cole Thornton by himself on the left side in man-to-man defense. Capaldi looks right, decides to unload to Mekhi Felton. He makes the catch past the 40, finally taken down around their own 25, around the Merrimack 25. Mekhi Felton with the biggest play so far this afternoon for the Rams offense.
Great job there by Mekhi Felton, showing off that speed, getting that separation on number 25, Nate Palankia Jr. there, the senior for the Warriors, and an even better job by Jack Capaldi now that he had time, taking his reads and letting it fly, a ball on the money for the Fordham Rams.
Didn't get that far. Ball's on the 30, Merrimack 30. 1st and 10. Capaldi in the shotgun. Receivers on both sides. Sends it up the gut with Rodriguez. He'll be spinning off a few guys, eventually getting taken down for no gain, and it'll set up a 2nd down.
Still nothing moving for the Fordham Rams in the run game. They showed off that they can let the ball fly. I'd like to see them keep trying that out. It's clear that right now the running game is a losing battle.
It's Capaldi in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right. Rodriguez directly to his left. Capaldi now looking for direction on his sideline. Got a few guys calling some plays, giving him direction. Neon hats on those gentlemen. He'll finally take the snap. It'll be a fake handoff to Rodriguez. He'll unload on that right side once again. It'll be overthrowing Cole Thornton in the end zone. It'll set up a 3rd and long for this Rams offense.
Cole Thornton's going to want a pass interference call there. And honestly, Chris, I think he has a case to be made. I definitely saw within that 10-yard line there as he was approaching the end zone, some hands on him. He looked to be held back even, but the refs decided that it was fair contact and they let them play on as Fordham faces a long 3rd down here.
Senior running back Jacob Rodriguez stays out there. He's in the backfield with Capaldi. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Now 2 to the right with tight end moving over. Rodriguez directly to the left of Capaldi. He'll take the snap. He'll drop back to pass. Now moving up past the 25. Now at the 20, finally getting taken down. And Jacob Capaldi doing it himself for the 1st down.
Jacob Capaldi saying, hey, Aiden Pereira, you can run, I can run too. Does a great job picking up the pressure and just running directly up the gap. And mad respect to him for taking the hit there, lowering his shoulder and diving for the 1st down.
It'll be a 1st down on Merrimack's 19. Fordham in the red zone and threatening. Capaldi in the shotgun. He's got Ricky Parks directly to his left. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. He'll now take the snap in the shotgun. It'll be a handoff directly up the middle for Ricky Parks. He'll get a yard or 2, and that'll set up 2nd down.
Fordham now gaining that momentum on offense. They're riding the wave, now working in a nice mix of the run and the pass game, trying to keep Merrimack on their toes. Exactly what they needed to do, what we said at the start of this drive, Chris.
Got 3 yards on that attempt. It's now on the Merrimack 16, 2nd and 7 for the Rams offense. Still down 9-0, 6:20 to go in this 1st half. Capaldi takes the snap, gives the handoff to Ricky Parks. He's stopped in the backfield. Great play there by the defense, and it'll set up another 3rd down for the Rams.
Yeah, great job there by Malek Sabri, the senior out of Damascus, Maryland. That's his 13th tackle on the season. He gets to the quarterback as well. He's got a QB hit. Great job there, just working on the left tackle of the Fordham Rams.
Capaldi has it in the shotgun, 3rd and 8. Ball on the Merrimack 18. 1 receiver to the left, 3 receivers to the right. Rodriguez set up right next to him. Capaldi drops back to pass, looks right to pass, and gets sacked in the backfield. The pass rush of Merrimack getting to him and getting to him quickly, and that'll set up another 4th down for this Ram team.
Fordham once again struggling to pick up the pressure there from the Merrimack Warriors, and now it is a 4th down. It'll be a long field goal for Bennett Henderson. He's hit from 52 as his season long against Holy Cross. It'll look to be around a 40-something yarder here.
9 for 11 on field goals on the year, 81%. He'll take this one from right around the 29-yard line, right inside of the Merrimack 29-yard line. The hold, the kick. It's good with more than enough room, and that gets the Fordham Rams on the scoreboard, 9-3 on the Bennett Henderson field goal, 4:54 to go in this first half.
Great field goal kick there by Bennett Henderson, splitting the uprights, and the Rams finally get on the board. That's what they needed. We said they just needed a solid drive, show that they could do it on offense, actually prove to themselves that they are still in this game, and more crucially, getting points on the board. That's Bennett Henderson's 10th field goal on the season. I'd like to remind the folks at home that the Fordham freshman record for field goals is 11, set by Micah Kolke in 2003. He needs 1 more to tie that and 2 more to actually set the record. So look to see Bennett Henderson try and chase history here in the freshman category, as this game is kind of neck and neck.
Game neck and neck, 9-3. Merrimack leads here in this second quarter. Both offenses gone relatively silent. That Rams drive there offensively, the most fireworks we've seen from them all afternoon so far.
Definitely a lot of fireworks there, Chris. Just riding that momentum, like we said, a big chunk play there, letting the ball fly to Mekhi Felton. I know he's going to be happy about that one after having the sort of mistake, the contact call earlier after he thought he might have been touched a little bit too extremely there, getting in the shoving match there, but he does a good job. You know what he's doing, Chris? He's taking words out of it. He's making his point heard by his play on the field, and that's exactly what you want to do. He's saying, hey, it's a close one, there's a lot of tension, but I'm going to go out there and show you what I can do myself. I'm going to show you my speed. I'm going to show you why I'm the captain, and he does a great job there linking up with Capaldi. I would love to see them continue to do that in this one.
Yeah, we talked about it. The offensive weapons for this Ram team between Felton, Cody, and Thornton, there's definitely the firepower out there to really be productive, and we saw it there on that drive.
Yeah, and while we have this little break, Chris, there's something that we haven't really mentioned, which has been a storyline for this Fordham Rams team so far, and that is injuries. Obviously, Julius Luffridge out right now. You have C.J. Montez, the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. He is not playing. Garrett Cody only played 5 games this season. When we talked to Coach Conlon, he said, speaking on those close losses this year by 5 points or less, they've been missing 14 or 16 guys on that 2-deep, and that's something, while he said you can't make it be an excuse, it's definitely something that weighs on a team.
It's going to be Bennett Henderson once again trotting back out there for the kickoff, setting the ball up right on the 35. It falls over with the wind we have here today. He's going to reset it up. It'll be, once again, surprisingly, Jermaine Corbett back, the running back for this Warrior team, back to receive this kickoff. Bennett will send it off to him. Corbett set up right on the 3-yard line, his own 3-yard line. He gathers it, now runs on the left side, fakes the reverse, and will get taken down past the 15, right around the 17.
One thing that I want to sort of
reverse there would have been unbelievable.
That would have been crazy. I think we really would have seen it all from a Fordham game this season. But
Truly.
What I want to touch on is now that Corbett, the running back, is returning these kickoffs and punts, I've noticed no fair catches so far, and I kind of wonder if that's a little bit of the running back brain, the running back mentality is whenever you can touch the ball, you just want to run it and let your feet do the talking, but maybe make the smarter decision. Set your team up on the 25-yard line.
It'll be a 1st and 10 for Merrimack. Ball on their own 18. Pereira set up in the shotgun. Corbett set up directly to his left. One receiver on both sides. It'll be given to Corbett. He'll run it right up the middle for just a 1-yard gain, setting up a 2nd and 9. That one being Brendan Wyatt.
Good job there by the Fordham Rams defensively. Good tackle. Again, they're keeping this Merrimack Warriors team contained in the middle, doing a good job, and now just trying to limit that edge play. Keep them between the sticks. That's the utmost importance here as they look to take the snap.
Pereira in an empty backfield. He's got his running back, Jermaine Corbett, set up in the slot to the left. 2 receivers on both sides. 3 receivers on the left, 2 receivers on the right. Pereira by himself, dropping back to pass, throwing it over the middle, right at the hands of wide receiver Miles Wilson. Hits his hands and then falls to the ground. Couldn't quite hold on to it, and he'll set up a 3rd and long for the Warriors.
That would have been some snag, Chris. Miles Wilson over the middle of the field, just reaching out with his left hand. Almost got it. Perhaps needs some stick-em on those gloves. Wrap that one in. Not able to haul it in as it's a 3rd down for the Merrimack Warriors.
3rd and 9. Ball on their own 19. 4:05 to go in this first half. Merrimack still with a 9-3 lead. Pereira to set up in the shotgun. Once again, in an empty backfield, Corbett set up to his left in the slot. 2 receivers on both sides. Corbett coming in motion. Pereira decides to take it himself up the middle. Stopped around, I would call it the 27-yard line. Not quite getting the 1st down. And another stop for the Fordham Rams defense, forcing another punt.
Good tackle there in the 2nd level by the captain outside linebacker, Mike Courtney. He's 5th in tackles in the Patriot League, and that's a crucial one because Aiden Pereira had a lot of room to run if he was able to bounce that one completely outside to the left-hand side.
It's going to be Cole Peterson once again out there to punt this one away. 45 attempts this season, a 40-yard average. His longest was 69. That's an absolute bomb. He'll send this one off. He'll send it to Cole Thornton back there to receive it. It won't reach him, and it'll stop on a few bounces right around the 50-yard line, where the Fordham offense will set up.
Well, you mentioned his punt being an absolute bomb, but the thing about some bombs, Chris, is that they're duds, and it was a little bit of a low snap, hard to bring in there for Peterson. Couldn't quite get the arc that he wanted, and now Fordham finds themselves in really good field position here as they look to get on the board towards the end of the half.
Yeah, Fordham setting up on the 50, 1st and 10. Condensed field for Fordham to work with, and like you said, Griff, they want to take advantage of it.
I'd like to see them repeat what they were doing the last drive, mixing the balance of the rush and the pass game, get those wide receivers involved. I'd like to see guys like Garrett Cody get his first touch in the game.
Capaldi setting up in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left and right. Rodriguez set up directly to his right. A man in motion, Matt Buron. It'll be snapped, fake handoff, throwing it right to Buron, and he'll drop it right through his hands just a few yards ahead of the line of scrimmage, and it'll set up a 2nd and 10.
Those are those plays where I think both the quarterback and the tight end could be at fault. Obviously, if you're Matt Buron, you want to haul that one in off your fingertips. But if you're Jack Capaldi, no need to rifle that one in, and a little bit of a low pass could have been a great opportunity to pick up some chunk yardage for the Rams.
It's going to be a 2nd and 10, ball on the 50. Capaldi setting up in the shotgun. Rodriguez moving directly to his left. 2 receivers on both sides. It'll be a handoff to the right. Met in the backfield, got past them, scratched and clawed his way back to the line of scrimmage, but it still will be no gain for this Fordham offense setting up on 3rd down.
Once again, this run game appears to be a losing battle. I thought for a second that Jack Capaldi might have held on to that one as he had a lot of green grass on the left-hand side.
Capaldi setting up for 3rd down, 3rd and 10, ball on the 50, 2:48 and counting left in this first half. Capaldi in the shotgun. Rodriguez set up directly to his left. Receivers on both sides. He'll fake the handoff into play action and met in the backfield by 3 different Merrimack pass rushers, and he's stuffed for a sack once again, this time by Jay Thompson.
Another sack on this afternoon for Jay Thompson, blitzing down that right-hand side. He's coming off of a great game last week against Sacred Heart. He had 5 tackles, forced a fumble, broke up a pass, and got to the QB. He's an edge rusher that can do it all, and so far, 2nd sack on the day, Chris.
He has been impactful in his role. Will Hazlitt back once again for the Rams to send this one off. He'll be set up right along his own 25. It's going to be another timeout called, and we'll take a break as well. The 2-minute warning. It's 2 minutes left to go in this first half. 4th and 20. The Rams about to kick it off 9-3 here in the Bronx. Merrimack leads the Fordham Rams. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym.
Discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
9-3 Merrimack College leads Fordham University here on the campus of Fordham University at Moglia Stadium. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by Griff Stevenson. Fordham ready to kick it away on a 4th and 20 ball on their own 40. Now at the 2-minute warning. Still some time for something to happen, but it's been relatively quiet, Griff, recently from both these offenses.
Yeah, both defenses putting on a good show here this afternoon. Notice, Chris, now for Merrimack in this punt return. Opted to take out Corbett, put Gary Roseman Jr., the cornerback, back in there. Wonder if he got a talking to about running that last one out, Chris.
Yeah, very possible. He's had 8 attempts at punt returns this season for 63 yards. His longest is 20. The Merrimack Warriors could use all the good field position they can get here with just 2 minutes to go.
I love a cornerback that returns punts, Chris.
Me too.
It gives me Deion Sanders vibes. I like that. It's like
it's a good aesthetic.
Always did that in NCAA Football 14 with my road to the show guys.
Of course. It's a versatile way to play. Just how we were talking about the running back for this Warrior team, Jermaine Corbett, his versatility, the same thing applies here.
Gary Roseman Jr. is also a guy who's played every single game since 2021, so he has been a staple both defensively and in the special teams unit for this Warriors program.
Yeah, he'll be back to receive this Will Haslett kick. Will Haslett will kick it off from his own 25. Haslett will receive the ball and kick it off. Rosemont will gather it right outside the 20. Another muff ball on the ground. He jumps on it and lands on it, but almost another possible disaster for this Warrior team.
Yeah, actually, I'm sure Corbett's on the sideline right now being like, see, I told you it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Back-to-back muffed punts, but both times the Merrimack returner has been able to jump on it. So those are two nearly moments for this Rams special teams unit. I would be confident in my punt team. Really attack that ball. Merrimack, you got to clean it up there in the special teams department. Now their offense will take the field as a score here could be very detrimental to the Rams' hopes of victory.
1st and 10, ball on their own 11. Just under 2 minutes to go in this first half with a 6-point lead. Merrimack works. It'll be Pereira in the shotgun, handing it off to Corbett. Set up to his right, moving left, and he'll get stopped right past the 15, call it the 17.
Taken down on that one by Matt Jaworski. Leads the Patriot League in tackles for losses and QB hits. 58 tackles on the year coming into this one. Just a defensive beast for this Rams defensive unit.
It's going to be another shotgun formation for Merrimack. 2nd and 6, ball on their own 15. It'll be Brendan Wyatt setting up to the right of Pereira. 2 receivers to the right, none to the left. It'll be a handoff to the Wyatt, moving left, getting stopped right along the sideline for another couple of yards gain right around the 15.
Merrimack continuing to go back to that run game. I want to circle back to Jaworski and particularly this Merrimack passing approach. Like to see this Rams defense get more QB pressure, get the sacks. Jaworski is coming off of a game where he had 9 quarterback hits in the win against Georgetown. Those are absolutely elite numbers. I'd like to see this Rams defensive front make Aiden Pereira sweat a little bit.
It's going to be a resetting of the game clock here from the referees. 55 seconds to go in this first quarter, in this first half. Now, 11 seconds allotted. 1:06 now on the first half clock. 3rd and 7, ball on the Merrimack 14. They will try and work deep out of their own territory. It'll be Pereira set up in the backfield along with Brendan Wyatt. Wyatt to his right, 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Now the one in left moving in motion to the right. All 3 receivers setting up on the right. He'll catch a screen pass on that right side, only get a few yards to gain, and get absolutely blown up in the secondary.
Once again, it was Matt Jaworski. We talked about him this entire sequence. Does a great job tracking the play and absolutely lighting up the defender in his backside. One thing I want to point out here as Merrimack gets the 4th down, noticeable non-inclusion on that sequence for the defense of the Fordham Rams. Number 13, Niall Perkins, the graduate cornerback, has been so good this season, the Patriot League interception leader. He currently is wearing that neon green cap, which is associated with the play callers. So I wonder now if that is going to mean his absence, maybe not for the entire game, but for a significant portion of this contest, Chris.
It's going to be another timeout, I believe, from no timeout called. They'll send out the punting unit quickly. It's a 4th and 6, ball on their own 15. They need to send this out, give this ball back to Fordham. Fordham with just a second over a minute of time left to go in this first quarter to work. It'll be Merrimack punting this one deep in their own territory. We've seen the dangers of that one already in this game so far. Cole Peterson to kick it off, gets it away. It was very close. Cole Thornton's back to receive it. He'll just let it dribble out, and it'll dribble out past the 40, finally stopping around the 38-yard line.
Maybe not the best decision there from Cole Thornton. Could have maybe grabbed that one. Again, a very slow long snap, which isn't doing Peterson any favors. Lacking a lot of velocity there. I wonder what's up with that. Could be maybe a timing issue there for the special teams unit of the Merrimack Warriors. But now as this Fordham offense takes the field again, they have 52 seconds to get some points on the board. We mentioned you have a guy in Henderson who can knock down those long field goals, chasing a record. So look to set him up in good field goal range, if not go long for the touchdown, Chris.
Just such a added advantage element for kicker to have that available, a kicker, and we'll set it up here. Capaldi in the shotgun, Rodriguez to his left, 1st down. He'll look to pass on the fake handoff, tried to roll out left, and gets finally taken down. The ball is loose. Ball comes free before he hits the ground, and it'll be a mad scramble right around the 37-yard line, and we'll see whose ball this is. Referee's trying to decipher it. We'll see who has it. I believe Fordham regathered it. They did. It'll be right around the 37-yard line, and a almost disastrous 1st down for this Fordham offense.
I was gonna say, Chris, before the officials indicated that it was Fordham ball, it did look like when Capaldi went down, he lost the football, was able at the last second to just last-ditch effort, grab and reach out with his right hand, secure the football, avoiding a costly turnover once again for this Rams offense. Now, as the Rams call a timeout here, I'd like to see them let it fly down the field. I believe it was Mekhi Felton on the right-hand side who actually had some separation on that play. Unfortunately, Capaldi, not enough time to see him, or just not the right read there, but there are chances for this offense.
Chances for this offense, 39 seconds to go. Still a 6-point deficit, 9-3. Merrimack leads the Fordham Rams. The Fordham Rams offense will start this one off ball on the 37, 2nd and 12. It'll be Capaldi setting up in the shotgun. Rodriguez directly to his right. 3 receivers to his right, 1 receiver to his left. Cole Thornton all by himself. It'll be a man in motion, Jaden Allen. Now going back to pass, Capaldi, and stopped in the backfield once again. It's Nicholas Lennon on the sack, and Capaldi just seemingly can't get left alone in that backfield.
Yeah, Nicholas Lennon is all over Jack Capaldi today, taking his lunch money, as some kids might say out there. Lennon is an absolutely solid defensive end. In 2021, when Merrimack was in the NEC, he was 2nd team all-conference there. He had a tackle for loss last week, just doing a great job of not letting Capaldi get any time to think.
The final seconds of this half are going to tick off the clock, And this Fordham offense will decide not to proceed on the 3rd and 22, and that's it for our first half here from the Bronx. Merrimack Warriors lead the Fordham Rams 9-3. The Merrimack Warriors coming into town as the road team in their final game of the season and really making a statement early and not doing enough to undo that the rest of the half.
Yeah, Chris, I thought going into this one, you and I both discussed that with Fordham having some younger guys on the defensive front and the running ability of this Merrimack offense, that would be the main storyline here. But it's almost a flipped script. I actually think Fordham is just losing the battle in the trenches offensively, and that's what it's been, their lack of ability to pick up the defensive pressure from the Warriors. And they got to do it. You got to give your quarterback time, Chris, if he's going to be able to make those moves. It's not like he's been particularly poor so far in this first half. It's just he hasn't had the opportunities. And when he was able to let it fly, like we saw to Mekhi Felton, he's put the ball on the money. So they got to give Capaldi time and space to make his reads, to make some plays. But other than that, I think if you're the defense of the Rams, you can go into the locker room with your heads held high.
Fordham both these teams looking to end their season on the right note. Fordham trailing going into the half 9-3. We'll see how they fare in the second half. For now, we'll send it to the Rose Hill Studios on campus for the one-on-one halftime update with Will Talent and Frank Spicuzza.
The one-on-one halftime report. Welcome in to the final one-on-one halftime report from the Rose Hill Studios for the 2024 football season. How's it going, everybody? Will Talent here with you. Alongside me, Frank Spicuzza. Really briefly, Frank, a lackluster first half, not a lot of offense. There were some fireworks defensively, a lot of turnovers going back and forth to start the game, but once again, this Fordham offense, they just don't quite have it in the tank today.
Seriously, Will, and you obviously mentioned that back and forth, which is nothing to be disregarded, but at the same time, it definitely breaks my heart to report that Fordham football is once again between that rock and the hard place. Merrimack's offense, for one, the running back Corbett and sophomore quarterback Pereira are just not hesitating to run up any hole they're given. So we're going to see what Fordham's defense is able to do here in this second half, but so far, abysmal is my word of choice.
Well, Merrimack definitely coming into this contest more known for running the rock, not so much having anything to do with the rock in the air. They get things going, and they've done that. They've done that 100% today, 142 rushing yards just in the first half to Fordham's -23. But anyway, let's get into the highlights and say how it was for this first half here at the Rose Hill campus. Starting off, we start things off on the very first play of the game where Jack Capaldi's pass was intercepted and into the hands of Trey Jordan III for his first interception of the season as Merrimack looked for an early momentum shift.
It's going to be a fake handoff and pass over the middle, and it's intercepted right away. This Merrimack defense making an impact, and he's still on his feet. Finally wrestled down right around their own 25. He's going backwards, finally wrestled right around the 30.
It was a quick red zone opportunity for the Warriors as Aiden Pereira found Cade Callahan for a short 5-yard gain, but it was Jalen Dawson forcing and recovering the fumble for the second turnover in the first 5 minutes of the ballgame, and now a new opportunity for the Fordham offense.
Merrimack team on the Fordham 6. Once again, Pereira in the shotgun. He's going to pass it to his right. It's going to be a sweep play and a fumble. Ball is loose, a scrumble on the ground. It's going to be coughed up by Cade Callahan, and the Fordham Rams have the ball.
3 and out went the Fordham offense, and down on their own 1-yard line. Will Hazlitt, he lined up to punt it away as the attempt, it was blocked by Kendall Sims, trickling out of bounds and putting the first points up on the board for a safety.
Will Hazlitt in the back of the end zone to send this one off. It'll be Gary Rosemond Jr. back right around the Block F Fordham logo at the 50 to get this one, and it's blocked! In the back of the end zone, it's blocked! Still waiting for a referee's signal. It's going to be a scrum in the back of the end zone, and a safety is signaled by the referee.
After 2 straight 20-plus rushing attempts, Merrimack, they found themselves back in the red zone, going to their leading rusher, Jermaine Corbett, and finding the end zone for the game's first touchdown as the Warriors padded their lead to 9-0.
Pereira setting up in the shotgun once again. Mateus Latham, third string, running back to his left. He has Jermaine Corbett right behind him. He'll give it to him running left, getting on the goal line and sneaking in. Jermaine Corbett with the touchdown.
And over in the second quarter, this Fordham offense, they started to spark something up. A drive sparked by a 50-yard connection between Capaldi and Mackay Felton brought the Rams into Merrimack territory, and a 43-yard field goal opportunity for Bennett Henderson.
The hold, the kick. It's good with more than enough room, and that gets the Fordham Rams on the scoreboard 9-3 on the Bennett Henderson field goal. 4:54 to go in this first half.
And that's how it was for the first half. We leave it at 9-3. A little side note for Bennett Henderson. He sits just one field goal away from tying the Fordham freshman kicker record for most field goals in a single season. He sits at 10. That record is 11. So something to keep an eye on. But overall, Frank, this is kind of just putting a button on it for a hard season, a difficult season, a 2-9 season.
Mm-hmm.
Something that just hasn't been going for this Fordham team, and that's the offense. That's just where I leave our conversation. The defense, they've held their own. They've only given up 9 points. That's come on some turnovers as well. This Fordham offense, though, Jack Capaldi, not really throwing out his best stuff today. He's only 2 of 7 with 1 interception and 55 yards. And that they really had that one big play from Mackay Felton. And other than that, it's really been pretty lackluster.
Lackluster indeed, Will. And seriously, well, obviously there was a flicker of hope there from the one and only Capaldi to Felton connection there with about 9 left in the second. The rest of it has been just about drowned out. Honestly, checking in on the yardage throughout the game, Jack was in the negative zone for almost the entirety of the first half, not to mention that first play interception. But honestly, like you had said, the defense has been holding its own, although we've heard a multitude of impeccable drives from the Merrimack offense. Fordham's defense is certainly holding the gates. It was their defining factor in the floor wiping of Georgetown last week, and I think it will be again today. On a hopeful note, though, in my mind, hanging in the back of my brain is the undying hope that Luffridge and Capaldi are going to pull things out today. Coach Conlon said just before the game that we're going to face a lot of adversity on both sides of the ball, so the seniors deserve everyone's best effort today. So while certainly that's a lovely sentiment, it certainly contrasts their performance today. So we're going to see if they can return from their low-held heads in that locker room to an upturned chin when they take the field again here in this half.
Well, we'll see what the status is with Julius Luffridge. Only had 1 attempt and a net of 2 yards for him on this game. I don't know quite if he is going to play for the rest of this game. He could be done. On the other side of this coin, though, the Fordham defense looking very strong. It was, Jackson Barletta with 4 tackles. And Mike Courtney with 4 tackles. Niall Perkins leading the charge with 5. He's got a tackle for a loss, a solo tackle for a loss. The love has been spread in terms of tackles. This Fordham defense really doing what they can. It's been kind of an issue with special teams, though, as we saw, Frank. The blocked punt in the end zone, that's really what kicked things off. And it was just kind of a sour first taste in this game, starting things off with a safety.
Impeccably sour, seriously being boozled right back there. And when you bring up special teams, I think it goes without saying that safety ultimately left probably the worst flavor of the season, if you will, or at least one of the top 5 for the Fordham Rams. So I think if they are able to potentially, by any means, bolster that special teams aspect of their game, then we just might be able to see some hope in turning around that offensive deficit we've seen today?
Well, it's been kind of an issue all season long. It's the last game of the season, so this is just what we have to work with. Going ahead into the second half, though, the Rams, they need to convert a little bit more on third down, 1 of 6 in third down conversions. They need to also throw that ball a little bit more as well. Just do something to get this offense going, get something sparked, and go out on a good note. Finish with 2 straight wins, a big 31-3 win last weekend over Georgetown. It would be nice to go out on a good note. But with that, that's going to do it for us from the studios here. However, we do have a special interview with Fordham's new athletic director, Charles Guthrie, an interview done by Lou Orlando and Chris Carrino. We want to show it to you right now, so please stick around and have a listen.
Lou Orlando and Chris Carrino, joined by Fordham's new athletic director, Charles Guthrie. Charles, taking this position, what excites you about being able to lead athletics here at Fordham University?
Well, what's exciting is Fordham has been around a long time. Great tradition, great program, Atlantic 10. Teams are having success, great coaching staff, and the president, President Tetlow, is a rock star. And to be aligned with President Tetlow, to have a vision to elevate the program and the university, I'm really excited about it.
And you just touched on it. This program has been around a long time. This athletic program has so much historical pedigree to it. How do you honor that and keep that energizing your program moving forward while also staying modern and staying in the current time?
Well, first of all, you know, Vince Lombardi started the program at UW Green Bay. So he's probably staring down on me right now and like, don't mess it up. Yeah. So excited about that. And I think the modern times is having the vast experience that I've had, been able to attain at, you know, various institutions. And it's the right time to be here in the NCAA as we go through this transformative period. And I'm excited to bring those expertise with me to Fordham to keep the tradition alive and to compete for championships.
In your opening remarks, you talked about being student-centered, student-focused. You said that's a huge part of your philosophy. Where did that start? How important is that to a successful athletics program?
Well, you know, my first athletic director's job was at a 2-year college, and I reported to student affairs, and our motto was students first. And they said the adults will always have challenges, but if you focus on the students, you can do very well in higher education. And so that's kind of been my mantra all the way, is that focus on the students and everything else will work itself out.
And this is less for Fordham, more for the actual position. It's such a broad and vast position to have. How do you kind of focus and concentrate on certain teams, certain sports, while also kind of giving fair attention to everybody?
Well, I think you focus on the portfolio, and you don't start picking and choosing different programs within the portfolio. Everyone's out there fighting. Everyone's going to practice. They're all working hard. No different with recreation and club sports. That's a cohort for people where they meet new friends. You know, when I was at Syracuse University, some of my best friends were on my intramural basketball team. So I think the exciting part about the role is it's not just focused on intercollegiate athletics, but it's dipping into more student life aspects, and I'm really excited about that part.
You had referenced how the landscape of college athletics, it's changing, it's transforming.
Right.
Is that a challenge or is that an opportunity?
Well, working in San Francisco, I was around a lot of tech companies, and you can be a yellow taxi and kind of maybe go out of business, or you can have an Uber mentality where you're always looking at disruption as an opportunity. And I look at the new format in college athletics as an opportunity. And those that take it as an opportunity will go far and be able to embrace it and compete and win. If you go roll over in the corner, you're gonna get left out. So I'm excited about what Fordham is going to do in this next iteration of college athletics. I think they're positioned very well. And again, like as I mentioned earlier, alignment with the board, the president, and AD will go very far as far as trying to compete in the next iteration of college sports.
And the spot you currently find yourself in, the location, the program, everything around it, what makes the opportunity so special, and what makes you just so excited about it?
Well, I've always been in a New York state of mind, wherever I live, you know, so they always said if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And I took those principles from Columbia University in 1999 and carried them through California, Ohio, Wisconsin. It didn't matter. So I feel like I'm battle tested. I'm a New Yorker, and I'm excited about the challenges ahead.
At Akron, you were praised for your ability to fundraise, your ability to get alumni support. That's obviously a huge part of college athletics. What's your philosophy there, and how crucial is that to taking Fordham to the next level?
Well, without without being external facing and fundraising, you're probably not going to succeed as a program. And that will be one of my top priorities, to make sure that we get our alumni and our donors active and understand how their support is going to be critical to trying to win championships. Everybody wants to win, but there's a cost associated with winning. And so I'm excited about that.
And I know you haven't been here that long, but I'm sure you've heard the term Rose Thrill thrown around here. I just want to talk about student involvement, student engagement in these athletic programs and how important that'll be for your regime moving forward.
Well, definitely. I think you want to get donors excited, have a lot of students at the game, because there's a reminder to them what it was like when they were a student. And so I think having student engagement is going to be a critical piece as we move forward here.
Fordham's new athletic director, Charles Guthrie. Charles, thanks for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
Well, that was Charles Guthrie, the new athletic director for Fordham Athletics. An exciting new regime coming in from Akron. Very excited. It's a new time. It's a new beginning here at Fordham University. And we have a new half of football to send you to. We'll bring it back to Carrino and Griffin Stevenson for the second half of Merrimack versus Fordham, the last regular season game for the Fordham Rams of 2024. Everyone, please, thank you for listening, and please enjoy the second half.
Back here in the Bronx for second half action. The Merrimack Warriors lead the Fordham Rams 9-3 after a pretty eventful first half. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner, Griff Stevenson. Thank you to Will and Frank during halftime, holding us down. But now back at Moglia Stadium, back in this game, looking toward the second half. This Fordham Ram team has seemingly been in this game since the very start, but how do they gain some control in it?
Well, they started off the game in about the worst way you possibly could as an offense, throwing an interception, but they did a good job of limiting that, doing damage control. They came out, got a fumble on the ensuing drive, ended up giving up a touchdown, but they managed to, like you said, stay in this one, keep fighting, and I really liked what I saw towards the end of that second quarter, where they finally stringed together a solid drive, getting the field goal, Bennett Henderson knocking it through the uprights, but a shocking statistic, which I think is going to be crucial for the Fordham Rams getting back into this one in the second half, is that in the first half, the Merrimack Warriors rushed it 22 times for 142 total rushing yards, whereas the Fordham Rams rushed it 16 times for a total of negative 23 yards, Chris. Negative 23 yards in the first half. That is something that no team is going to want to see, and that's something that has to change. Again, we knew that this Merrimack Warriors team was going to be strong on in the rush game, and Fordham was going to have to limit that. So far, they haven't really been successful. I'd like to see them continue to stop. I think a big part of that, again, is Aiden Pereira getting, 65 yards in the first half, going on the outside. I think the Rams have done a good job of keep trying to win those battles centrally, but making sure they're monitoring those outside plays, not letting them get those long chunk yardage sort of moments, and really just limiting damage, I think, and letting the offense do their work, Chris.
Yeah, Griff, we've talked about injuries, different changes in this Fordham team. James Conway, a player we haven't seen today that makes a major impact. A lot of his impact seen in the run game, and 142 yards on the ground. This Merrimack team has a good running back room that has been effective, but this Fordham team needs to get it in control if they want to have any shot at competing this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, you're going to want James Conway, and it does look like a completely different defense when he's playing, but like Coach Conlon said, just because there's injuries, they cannot use that as an excuse. They got to keep playing their game. Another thing of note, which I think is interesting, Merrimack 3 for 7 on third down conversions. The Fordham Rams, only 1 of their 6 attempts they ended up converting, and I do think that comes down especially to where they are having these third downs from. They've had a lot of 3rd and 10, 3rd and 20 even, and they got to get those just sort of small yardage plays. The saying kind of gets overused a little bit, but 3 yards every play, that's a touchdown. You keep going, and they've tried to do a little too much, and of course the offensive or the defensive pressure at Merrimack has been there. That's another big thing, is you got to protect your quarterback.
Yeah, got to protect your quarterback. Jack Capaldi receiving a lot of heat in the backfield all first half long. This Fordham team received multiple drives, start right around the 50-yard line with good field position, but just haven't really been able to capitalize on it yet.
Those are killer, Chris. Your quarterback gets not only banged up, but you're now dropped back a couple yards, takes away a down, and it's just the ultimate momentum shifter. As you saw, every time either Nicholas Lennon or Jay Thompson got back there to put some contact on Capaldi, they were absolutely fired up after the play, and that's the sort of mentality and mindset that can be very influential in these sort of one-score games. One thing I want to draw attention to right now, as there's less than a minute left before they kick off here in the second half, is that Peterson and his long snapper for the Merrimack Special Teams unit, they are working on their long snaps. We saw a couple of low snaps, a couple of slow snaps, low and slow, like they're roasting a turkey. That's next week on Thanksgiving, or excuse me, I think you do ribs low and slow. All my people from the Texas listeners might be there. Chris and I are not the right people to ask.
If I'm the wrong guy, yeah.
But getting back on track as they are warming up, still some low snaps. That is something that they have to pay a lot of close attention to, and it's something that the Fordham Special Teams unit defensively can capitalize on.
It's going to be the Fordham defense going out there to start this second half. They want to get a stop to set the precedent, set the tone for the rest of this half. The Warrior offense, semi-productive in short spurts in that first half. Obviously, want to add another layer of consistency to their game on that side of the ball.
Corbett back to return this one again, so flip-flopping all around with their returners is Merrimack.
Yeah, it's going to be Corbett back to receive it and Bennett Henderson to kick it off. Corbett set up right inside the 5-yard line, his own 5-yard line, and Bennett Henderson setting up on the 35 to kick this one off. More wind knocking over the ball on its stand. We saw that earlier. Saw a lot of foliage flying onto the field during the halftime time.
Going to use a holder here, Chris.
Yeah, going to use a holder on the kickoff. Not something you would see very often. Just one of the guys set up next to him, just helping him out. Bennett Henderson will kick off the second half for us here in the Bronx. It'll be gathered in the end zone and taken out of the end zone. Eventually brought down by a shoelace tackle past the 15 at the 16. Once again, Jermaine Corbett just refusing to call for a fair catch, Griff.
Yeah, once again, I think I coined the term running back brain there. Just wanting to run it out. And honestly, can we get the special teams coach of the Fordham Rams some Advil, because it's been very, very. He brings out one guy, brings another. You got McDonald, you got Corbett. Corbett's going to run the ball every single time out, no matter where it's kicked. And McDonald's been getting tackled very early, so it's a lose-lose situation right now for the Merrimack Warriors.
Ball on Merrimack 17, 1st and 10, deep in their own territory. It's going to be handed off right up the middle, and he's going to be taken down right up the middle, only a yard or two on the gain. It'll set up second down, 2nd and 8 on the 18.
Once again, Minnick there for the Fordham Rams, proving that he is probably one of the best, if not the best, open field tackler there in that secondary, always making his presence known, attacking. It's
going to be on the Merrimack 18, 2nd and 9. It's going to be Pereira working out of the shotgun. He's got Jermaine Corbett, the 5'9 senior, to his left, 2 receivers to his left as well. He drops back to pass, moves right, rolls out right now, fires one away, and moves it to completion. Seth Schweitzer with a fantastic catch right past the 30 and a first down for this Warrior team. There's some laundry on the field. We don't know if this will necessarily affect the play.
Let's see what the call is here, Chris. But either way, I really like what I saw there from Pereira. That's the first time we mentioned that he can pass the ball, he can rush the ball, but that's the first time he's kind of combined both of those skills, ran out, creating some space, got the completion downfield once that space opened up, but it looks like that penalty will be on the Warriors, Chris.
Yeah, Aiden Pereira and the rest of this Warrior offense moving it back. A big pickup there, gets erased, and they'll have to go back to the drawing board.
Hard to tell what's a flag and what's not right now, Chris. We mentioned it's a windy one. You got a lot of leaves on the field, perhaps for the players even a little confusing.
Ball on Merrimack's own 9-yard line, 2nd and 18. A little over 14 minutes to go in this third quarter. It's going to be Pereira setting it up once again for this Merrimack offense. He'll be in the shotgun. He's got Jermaine Corbett to his left, 3 receivers to his left, one on his right. He'll drop back to pass, looks left, moves up in the pocket, lets one go in the left flat, and it'll be caught for a completion, but no gain on that one. It'll stay where it was. Malachi Anthony getting stopped, and it'll be a 3rd and 17 for this Merrimack offense. Ball on their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, great job there by the outside linebacker, number 16, Jackson Barletta. We mentioned it seems like all these linebackers are strong when it comes to their Patriot League numbers. He's 11th in the Patriot League in tackles. Does a great job there of just reading that pass and jumping on it as soon as he gets the ball.
Seth Schweitzer coming in as a substitution. It's going to be Pereira in the shotgun. Once again, Corbett to his right. 2 receivers on both sides. Now Corbett moving into the right slot. Now an empty backfield, dropping back to pass is Pereira. Pereira moving up in the pocket, now moving past the line of scrimmage, past the 20-yard line, finally getting stopped at the 25. It'll be right around the first down marker. They'll maybe just measure this one, but a huge 3rd down pickup with his legs from Aiden Pereira. It'll be the punting unit coming out here, a yard short for Pereira. It'll be 4th and 1 on their own 26, and they'll have to punt it away.
You know what, Chris? He ran into the back of his wide receiver, number 4, Jalen McDonald. Perhaps the only thing that was stopping Aiden Pereira, or will stop Aiden Pereira at this point, is his own team.
It'll be Cole Peterson on the punt for this Merrimack team. He had a bit of a dud earlier. We'll see on a second try here. He sends another one, and it's also a bit of a dud, just getting past the 50-yard line. It'll settle from its bounces around the 43-yard line, and that's where Jake Capaldi in this Fordham offense will start.
He's just not getting the arc on his punts, Chris. Those are very, very, very low punts there from Peterson. Again, not what you want to be seeing. You don't want to give Fordham an inch here offensively, especially in a tight game like this, a one-score game where a touchdown and extra point gives the home Rams the lead, starting off from nearly their opponent's half, just barely at the 45-yard line. Again, we've seen this before, though, and the Merrimack defense has been able to quell the offensive push of the Fordham Rams. I'd like to see them finally, I feel like a broken record at this point, but Fordham needs to capitalize on one of these drives here down the stretch, Chris.
Julius Luffridge, probably one of, if not the biggest offensive weapon for this Ram team, was out most of that first half. Didn't even see him on the sideline after the first half, coming back out for the second. We saw him roaming around that sideline. We'll see as this drive progresses how much time he'll get and how many touches he'll get.
If he gets any touches at all, Chris, they've been really leaning on the backs, Jacob Rodriguez and Ricky Parks, who, as we saw from the stat line of rushing yards, whether that's completely on them or they've been struggling a little bit with the defensive front, but Fordham really having a hard time getting the run game going, and that's something they need to fix because, as we mentioned, if you can't get the run game going, the defense feels very comfortable, and all they have to do is adjust for that pass, and they've shown so far that as soon as Jack Capaldi steps back, they're going to get to him.
Negative turnovers overall in total rushing yards in that first half for the Rams. Obviously, something needs to change. Both these quarterbacks in this game so far this afternoon have shown their versatility and what they can do with their legs. I think Pereira may be a little more defined, but this Fordham team with 3 running backs that they can all use and are all serviceable, it should be a committee-style situation in the running game for the Rams. It's just not effective.
That seems to be the trend throughout a lot of teams in the football world now. Really quickly before Fordham Rams snaps the ball, I want to highlight on that last drive, Aiden Pereira getting those couple rush yards. He's now over 500 yards rushing on the season there. So both sides of the ball doing it here in this one.
Big accomplishment for Pereira. Now the Fordham offense will set up on their own 42, 1st and 10. Capaldi in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his left, 1 receiver to his right. Rodriguez set up directly to his left, and he'll receive the handoff, moving right in the middle of the pile, getting stuffed right behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of yards.
We've been talking about their defensive effort on the side of the ball for Merrimack. We haven't really highlighted their D tackles, Brandon Roberts and Tyler Levy. Just absolute units, both nearly 6 foot, almost 290 pounds.
2nd and 11, ball on the Fordham 41. Capaldi in the shotgun, 2 receivers out far to the left. Rodriguez directly next to him. 1 receiver to the right. Capaldi takes the snap now, looks to throw deep down the near sideline. Mekhi Felton couldn't come up with it, was grabbed almost the entire way, and looked like a very egregious no call there on the pass interference. Griff, what did you think from our perspective?
Well,
we couldn't have had a better view.
It was Trey Jordan in coverage, the guy who got the interception earlier, but honestly, it is a time of giving thanks, Chris, and it looks like they were embraced in a hug there. It really was just like a magnet together down that left-hand side, and I'm surprised there wasn't a call on either way.
I'm not even feeling negative, just amazed, honestly. It's now going to be 3rd and 11, 3rd and long for this Fordham offense. Ball on their own 41 still. Capaldi in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Rodriguez directly to his left. He'll hand it off going right. Rodriguez will get a few yards. Not quite enough for the first down. He'll get stopped right around the 43-yard line to set up 4th down.
With that play call, Chris, on 3rd and long, I'm starting to wonder how confident Fordham is in that passing game, as we saw the deep shot to Mekhi Felton didn't pay off. Obviously, they're going to be frustrated with the no call there, but when it's a close game like this, running the ball on 3rd down doesn't really speak a lot of confidence into your faith in the passing game.
No, absolutely. Faith in the passing game, very important for this Fordham squad. It's going to be another punch for them. Will Hazlitt setting up right on their own 30-yard line. It's going to be punted away, and that one will be punted directly to Gary Rosemond Jr. It'll stop before it gets to him, and it'll finish its dribbling around the 15, 16-yard line. That's where the Fordham offense will start.
Yeah, musical chairs for the returners of the Warriors, but on that one there for the Fordham Rams, Will Hazlitt looked like he ran into there a little bit there. The no call, he runs off the sideline shrugging his shoulders a little bit. So I think that kind of epitomizes right now the mentality of this Fordham Rams team of it's not going your way, but what can you do?
We're going to get a stoppage of play here, a timeout called. We're going to take a little break as well. The Merrimack Warriors leading the Fordham Rams on the road 9-3, 10 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in this 3rd quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Welcome back to the Bronx, more specifically Moglia Stadium. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Griff Stevenson. Fordham Football trailing the Merrimack Warriors 9-3, 10:27 to go in this 3rd quarter. And Griff, another failed offensive possession for this Ram team, now back on the defensive side of the ball, and they're just continuing to try and get themselves in control in this game and continuing to not succeed.
Yeah, just trying to find a foothold in this one. It's relying very heavily on the defense as Merrimack. Again, though, we've mentioned their offense being productive, but they only do have 9 points to show for it. Haven't scored since that 1st quarter. Look, they put some points on the board here.
Ball on Merrimack 16, 1st and 10. Pereira in the shotgun. It's going to be Corbett directly to his right. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Corbett, fake handoff to Corbett, throw right over the middle, and it's caught. Brought down right around the 47-yard line. A long reception for Jaden McDonald, the sophomore from Laurel, Maryland.
A great job there by Jalen McDonald, showing off that speed in the middle of the field. Just gets the step there on Niall Perkins, and he is gone. Almost was able to break free, but a shoestring tackle by his man Perkins, and I like to see them airing out the ball now.
It's 1st and 10, ball on Merrimack's own 46, 9:53 to go in this 3rd quarter, still 9-3 Merrimack. It's going to be a fake handoff and keeper for Pereira. He's stopped in the backfield. Impressive play there from the Fordham defense. It's Peter Shalhoub on the stop, and it'll set up a 2nd down.
Yeah, great job there by Peter Shalhoub, just getting in the gap. One thing I want to point out very quickly that might impact some of this passing game here is it's a very windy and chilly one here. We see in Doritos bags, plastic bags flying, leaves are flying. If you weigh less than 20 pounds, you're probably flying, and that can definitely be a factor, especially as quarterbacks have to air it out long.
It's going to be 2nd and 13, ball on Merrimack's 43. Pereira in the shotgun. Corbett set up to his right. One receiver left and right of the line. It's going to be to Corbett up the middle. He'll bounce it out to the left. Finds defenders there as well and is stopped short of the line of scrimmage, setting up a long 3rd down.
Corbett makes a couple men miss there trying to find the space, but it's a good job by the corner, Perkins, coming down from his spot on the outside of the field and just sealing that gap, not creating any space and getting the tackle.
Pereira looking at his sideline for direction. It'll be Corbett in the backfield with him, and 3 receivers set up on the right, 1 on the left. Pereira in the shotgun once again. It's going to be 2 linebackers on the 2nd level for Fordham. Pereira looking down his center, taking the snap, looking right to pass, rolling right. Now looking, moving up the middle, rushing up the middle, bouncing off a few defenders, and finishing his run right around the 41 into Fordham territory.
Pereira there like a pinball machine, just bouncing around, using the force of 2 Fordham defenders to just ricochet off in his spin move. But those are the kind of mistakes, poor open field tackling, if you will, that can be very harmful in this one.
Big 1st down there for the Warriors. Now Pereira sets up. Ball on the Fordham 42. 1st down. It'll be a run up the middle. Jermaine Corbett will be stuffed after a few yards, and it'll set up a 2nd down.
Trying to go back to that run game once again. It's already established. They know it works. Pound it up the gut of the Fordham Rams, although they've done a decent job of limiting it. I'd like to see this Merrimack offense use that play action, take advantage, reap the rewards of setting up that run game, Chris.
2nd and 7 for this Merrimack offense. Ball on the Fordham 39. Pereira setting up. 2 receivers on his left and right. Corbett setting up to his right in the shotgun. Pereira takes the snap, looks over the middle, now moves left, slides left. A touch pass down the left sideline is good. The completion goes past the 20, finally ending right past the 20, and another 1st down for the Merrimack offense.
That's the danger, as we mentioned, of Pereira's running ability, because when he takes off down that left-hand side, a receiver over the top, 2 defensive players for the Fordham Rams, they're not looking behind them. They're focusing on the running quarterback, and that allows him to just lay up the little floater to his receiver. A great job there of exposing the weaknesses and the gaps in this Fordham defense, but it looks like there's going to be a penalty on this one.
Yeah, ball's seemingly going to be called back here, now set up on the Fordham 56-yard line, 57-yard line. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty, setting them back now, still on the positive side of the 50, but not receiving any of those yards. Ball on the Fordham 44, 2nd and 12 for the Merrimack offense. 2 receivers on both sides. Jermaine Corbett set up to the left of his quarterback, Pereira, in the shotgun. Taking the snap. Now moving right because of the pressure. Moving up the field just before the 40 and getting knocked out of bounds right around the line of scrimmage.
A good job there by Jackson Barletta, following him the whole way, being able to knock him out of bounds, limit the damage there. But Aiden Pereira is so quick when he rolls out, faster than anything Fordham has to offer on that defensive end, and that is what's really hurting them. If you're Coach Giannetti, you got to be thankful to have a guy as valuable as Pereira right now. And it's crazy because, as we mentioned, he was not the intended starter at the beginning of the season.
3rd and 9, big 3rd down play for the Warriors. Ball on the Fordham 41, 5:50 to go in this 3rd quarter, 9-3 Merrimack lead. Received in the shotgun from Pereira, goes back to throw, dart over the middle is completed, and that will be moving the chains even more for this Merrimack team now on the 30.
This Merrimack offense has had a lot of positive results in the passing game when they've exposed the gaps in Fordham zone defensively, Chris.
It's going to be Pereira in the shotgun once again. Corbett set up to his left, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. It's 1st and 10, ball on the Fordham 30. It's going to be a handoff to Corbett right up the middle. He'll face some of that physicality and be taken down just a few yards ahead, that one on the 32.
Once again, not much going when they run it down the middle. Going back to that previous play, though, the reception from Schweitzer, once again, he goes up, runs that little hitch route, plants himself right there, and all Corbett has to do is stand in and rifle it to him. He goes to the ground for an easy first down conversion.
It's going to be Corbett and Pereira looking at their sideline for some direction. Now have it. Setting up in their formation. 3 receivers to the right, none to the left. Corbett set up right to the left of Pereira. Pereira in the shotgun, taking the snap, looking to run immediately, running up the middle, losing the ball. We'll see if he was down or the ball left him first, but it was dropped right around the 21-yard line of Fordham.
This could be huge if it is indeed a turnover, but it did appear to me like he might have been down before that ball came out. Good job there laying the hit in the secondary from that Rams defense. Let's see what the refs are going to call here, Chris.
It's going to be a 3rd down for this Warrior offense. It's going to stay with them now. It's ball on the 28, the Fordham 28. Pereira looking for his sideline for direction. 3rd and 2 now.
That's the right call, Chris. He looked down to me.
3rd and 2. Ball on the Fordham 22. Pereira in the shotgun. Got one receiver on both sides in the slot. Sort of bunch formation. It's Corbett to his left in the shotgun. Drops back to pass. Looks left for Corbett, then decides to run. Running left. Bunch of flags fly as he dives for the first down pylon and I believe gets it. We'll see what the Laundry has to do. It's holding on the offense. That one will come back and get erased for this Merrimack offense.
Yeah, crucial penalty call there. Now they take a 3rd and short that they picked up. Now becomes 3rd and long. It's really been a jousting match this whole game between Pereira and Jackson Barletta, as it seems that Pereira's always rolling out to his side. Barletta always there to meet him. Pereira seemingly got the better of the Fordham linebacker in that one, but it won't count, Chris.
Yeah, it won't count. And once again, this Merrimack team will go backwards. Ball on the 32-yard line of Fordham. 3rd and 12, 3rd and long for this Merrimack offense. Pereira once again receiving signals. He's now going to go to the line. They're going to set up 2 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Corbett set up directly to his left. He's in the shotgun. Moves up to the line to direct. Now moving backward. Almost decided to move Corbett. Decided to keep him. It's going to be a penalty on the line of scrimmage where both teams pointing at each other. It's actually going to be a timeout. A timeout, I believe, with Fordham.
I think Merrimack was about to get a delay of game call, and Fordham was trying to say, hey, they didn't get it off in time, but the officials indicating that they did indeed call a timeout. Now as both teams huddle up now and discuss their game plan here on a big 3rd down play.
Yeah, big 3rd down play coming up. Both these teams taking a little break to figure out what this next play will entail. 3rd and 12, 3rd and long for this Warrior offense. Ball on the 33. They've done a good job so far, Griffin, on this drive. Now they want to culminate that with a score.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'd be very upset with themselves if they didn't at least get 3 points here. If you're not going to get the first down, got to give your kicker a better spot to get it from, although he can hit it from long range. And if you're the Fordham Rams, we mentioned earlier in this one, they haven't been able to get to the quarterback. I know Pereira has the running threat and he can get out, and so you have to be careful when attacking him, but a sack here would be huge, and it would show that this Rams defense is still capable of putting pressure on the QB like they did so well against Georgetown last week.
Aiden Pereira, the sophomore, doing a good job at evading pressure so far this afternoon. He was, as Griff said earlier, the 3rd-string quarterback coming into this season since taking the reins. He's done a good job in a very weird and unlikely situation. He's a Maine University transfer. He was a redshirt freshman in 2023. Hasn't received a ton of playing time, as I said, started the season at 3rd string. Their first starting quarterback goes down on the first play of the game against Air Force. Their second string quarterback goes down a game or 2 later, and seemingly Aiden Pereira's opportunity fell right into his lap.
Yeah, it definitely fell right into his lap, and he's taking advantage of it. The highlight of this one is his run game. It's so versatile. His season high is 103, which he got against Colgate in Week 8. He's definitely approaching that, if not surpassed that, right now in this one. And that's something that is surely in the back of the mind of every single Fordham defender as they take the field ahead of this 3rd and long.
Yeah, big play, 3rd and 13 for the Merrimack Warriors offense. Ball on the Fordham 33. done a good job getting past the 50. Now want to keep this drive going. 2 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Corbett set up directly to the left of Pereira. Pereira in the shotgun, and they're ready to go. Pereira, hands out, taking the snap, looking left to pass over the middle and completed. Jalen McDonald with a major snag over the middle, finally taken down inside the 10, and he keeps this Warrior offense rolling.
Yeah, Jalen McDonald having a great game so far in the third quarter here, and Pereira once again stepping back, waiting, doing his reads, and they might not have had the most success running the ball up the middle against this Fordham defense, but when it comes to the passing game, the middle has been absolutely wide open, something that the Fordham defense needs to adjust if they're going to have a chance in this one.
It's going to be first and goal, ball on the Fordham 9-yard line. Now going to try and punch it in and get a touchdown score. It's Pereira in the shotgun. Corbett set up to his right, 3 receivers to his right. He fakes the handoff, looks to pass, and is sacked in the backfield. A major sack for this Fordham defense, and they set up a unlikely and an unprecedented second down play deep around the 20. It's Niall Perkins on the sack.
I mentioned they needed to get pressure on Pereira. Remind him that they're there. Keep him guessing, and that is a gutsy call there by the Fordham defense, sending the corner Perkins on a fast, quick blitz, and he gets there in time. A great job, and that is a huge momentum play for this Rams defense as they try to prevent the Merrimack Warriors from getting a touchdown.
Perkins, known for his pass breakups, does a good job on the dirty work there. Pereira sets up in the shotgun. 2nd and 16, ball on the Fordham 16. It'll be a timeout called from Merrimack. They needed some more time to talk it over. We'll do the same thing here at Moglia Stadium on the campus of Fordham University. The Merrimack Warriors leading the Fordham Rams 9-3, 1:56 to go in this third quarter. And we'll be right back with Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carrino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Second and 16. It's a run right up the middle. Jermaine Corbett running right through a bunch of different jerseys and not quite picking up the yards he wanted to there. It's going to set up a 3rd and long for this Merrimack offense. Ball on the 15-yard line of Fordham.
Big 3rd down coming up here for the Merrimack Warriors, trying to punch it in, avoid having to settle for the field goal here. Fordham Rams defense got us takeaway in a similar position. Let's see if they can recreate that.
3rd and goal, ball on the Fordham 12, 9-3 Merrimack lead. Pereira in the shotgun, faking the handoff, going for the pass, and a catch! An acrobatic catch made by Jalen McDonald in the back left section of the end zone, and Merrimack adds to their lead. It's now a 15-3 lead.
What a catch there by Jalen McDonald, working out there on the left side on Perkins, swings his body out as the ball's coming in, snags it in with one arm there. A huge momentum play as the Warriors take the lead. Perkins, normally such a lockdown defender, in this one struggling against number 4, Jalen McDonald.
Nasty work with the back of the shoulder there, and another big play from Jalen McDonald. He's been full of them so far this afternoon, and after the extra point, this Warrior team is up 16-3, a almost 2-touchdown lead over the Fordham Rams on the road with just 1:17 to go in this third quarter. Impressive stuff from the Warriors there on that drive.
Yeah, great job by the Warriors, chewing up a lot of clock, nearly an 8-minute drive there, a touchdown as a result. Great catch there once again by Jalen McDonald, but I want to highlight Aiden Pereira there, putting the ball where it needed to be, trusting his wide receiver to get open, placing it on that back shoulder, allowing him to make a play.
Aiden Pereira, we've talked about him almost ad nauseum so far this afternoon, but it can't go overstated just how good and important he's been for this Merrimack offense all evening long.
Definitely been an important player, perhaps not even perhaps the most important player for this Warriors offense. And those are the big plays that really fire a team up, fire the program up. We could hear some of their guys up here in the booth loving that catch, and I'm sure it's one that McDonald's going to have on the highlight reel for a long time.
Yeah, that's Jalen McDonald making that highlight reel play and getting his Warriors out to a now 13-point lead with just a minute to go in this third quarter. It'll be Merrimack to kick it off once again after the touchdown. Liam Davis around the 35, setting to kick this one off. We'll go to Mekhi Felton, set up right around the 10-yard line. He picks it up. He'll take it out in between the numbers, finally getting tackled past the 30. Decent return and decent field position for the Rams offense.
Yeah, decent return there by, I believe that was actually KJ Reed taking it out for the Rams. But I want to mention, we talked about the wind a little bit earlier. This could have played a role in the Peterson punts that have gone a little short. We saw the ball get held up there on the kickoff. The wind, they're kicking into the wind, and that's very hard to do, especially when you want to get those big booming kicks that force a team to start their play from way back in their own half.
1st and 10, ball on the Merrimack 32. It's Capaldi setting up in the shotgun. He'll send it in the flat. Nobody there. A bit of miscommunication, and it'll set up second down.
Yeah, Cole Thorne just throwing his hands up there, looking a little dejected. I think that was a miscommunication between him and Capaldi. Thorne leads the team in every receiving snap, but so far we haven't seen much of him this afternoon.
It's going to be second down now. 2nd and 10, ball on the 32 still. Capaldi setting up in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the right. Rodriguez set up directly to his right. He'll receive the snap and run it up the middle with Rodriguez. Rodriguez bounces to the right, trying to take it up the middle, and he's stuffed there as well. Another big defensive play and another big defensive stop from Trey Jordan III in the secondary.
Yeah, Chris, I wonder if that was a miscue on what side he was supposed to go to, because as soon as Trey Rodriguez stepped to his left, he almost jumped up like Bugs Bunny there, immediately ran to the other side.
It's going to be a third and long, 3rd and 13, ball on their own 28. A pivotal play for this Rams offense, still looking for any sort of momentum. Capaldi in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. Rodriguez directly to his left. He snaps it, looks to pass, moves up in the pocket, now running past the 35, sliding at the 40, getting hit late at the 40, and the laundry precedes it immediately.
Yeah, you cannot do that, Chris. You got to protect the quarterback there. Just flying right in. Number 8, DJ Frazier. He leads the team in tackles. Been a little bit quiet in this one. Perhaps maybe his lack of tackles so far. Your eyes get wide, especially when you see the quarterback rolling out there. But Capaldi does a great job of getting down early, and DJ Frazier just can't pump the brakes. And it's a very big penalty as the Rams try to move down the field quickly.
A massive penalty on a massive play for this Rams offense. Now moves them up past the 40. It's going to be Fordham first down. This Fordham team trying to gain any sort of offensive momentum, something they've really struggled to gather so far this afternoon. As now they move past the 50, and ball will be spotted, I believe, right around the 46-yard line. Ball on the Merrimack 46, 1st and 10. Last few seconds of the third quarter going to tick off. See if they get a play in before. Capaldi in the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides stacked. He's going to fake the run, look to pass, and is sacked in the backfield once again, getting to the quarterback. Jay Thompson making his impact felt all afternoon today, and what a way to culminate the first 3 quarters for this Warrior team.
Chris, we mentioned that Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday, but Jay Thompson is getting his feasting starting early there. Another sack in this one, coming off of that blind side there. Nowhere for Jack Capaldi to go. The tail of the tape for this Fordham Rams team. They get some decent momentum with a penalty call there. Then it goes back. Momentum not been on the side of this Rams team.
That's it for 3 quarters in the Bronx. The Merrimack Warriors lead 16-3 over the home Fordham Rams. We'll take a little break from the Bronx, send it to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard update with Frank Spacuzza.
One-on-one scoreboard.
After an exciting first half and an equally electrifying third quarter, we'll zoom out of the Bronx and onto the tri-state. The New York Rangers got burned by the Calgary Flames on Thursday, falling 3-2. Disregarding their defeat, Igor and company venture north tonight to play the Oilers at 10. Balancing out the heartbreaking loss, the Islanders triumphed over Detroit, which finished at 2-1. While certainly well celebrated, they waste no time as they host the Blues tonight at 7:30. Across the Hudson, the Devils beat out Carolina 4-2 on Thursday as they carry their momentum to Washington for tonight's game against the Capitals. Swapping the puck for the pigskin, the Giants welcome the Buccaneers tomorrow at 1 after their last week bye that followed the 20-17 fall to the Panthers. The Jets enjoy some R&R this weekend as they're utilizing their bye week to reflect on their 28-27 stumbling against the Colts. Back in Manhattan, the Knicks are coming in red hot off their 138-122 win against the Phoenix Suns as they take on the Jazz tonight at 5. The Brooklyn Nets head home sulking from Philly as they hold a 113-98 L against Embiid's 76ers as they prepare for their showdown against the Kings tomorrow at 6. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Frank Spacuzza.
Back here in the Bronx with Fordham and Merrimack. Fordham Rams trailing the Merrimack Warriors 16-3 as we head into this fourth and final quarter. The Rams offense has been ineffective, to say the least. 30 offensive plays and only 34 yards. They almost have more plays than yards, which, Griff Stevenson, you should never do. And getting you involved here, my partner, Griff Stevenson, what do you feel just initially off that stat and opening it up more broadly to what this offense has been so far this afternoon?
Well, maybe Coach Conlon should open up a laundromat, Chris, because the penalty flag has been the best player. 60 yards off of penalties for the Fordham Rams, only 34 total yards of offense.
Almost doubling their total yards.
Yes, almost doubling their total yards. I think, again, that's the tale of the tape. It's hard because this Merrimack Warriors defense has done such a good job, and when you're the Fordham Rams and you really can't get either your passing or your run game going, relying on really brief, flash-in-the-pan, long, chunky yardage plays, that's never going to be a recipe for success. And I think that's what this Fordham Rams team hasn't been able to figure out all season. If there's a pendulum, learn about momentum, take a physics class, the momentum has not been on their side.
We'll see if they've learned something now. It's Fordham ball on the Merrimack 46, second at 18. Capaldi in the shotgun, Park set up directly to his right. 3 receivers set up to his right, deep on his right. And we'll see if he can gain some yardage here ahead of third down. Capaldi receives the snap on the clap in the shotgun. Now moving out of the pocket, running right. Now running toward the sideline, gets crushed as he goes into the sideline, and he's down and on the ground just past the 46, and he doesn't look good.
Yeah, Dean Houston coming in, lay the hit on Jack Capaldi, and I think that's an unnecessary hit to take if you're Capaldi. I get it, you maybe perhaps influenced by Aiden Pereira there, trying to run out of bounds quickly, try to show off your feet, but now it looks like it'll be, I believe, he's coming out of the game after that hit.
Yeah, Trip Holly was frantically given his helmet by Julius Luffridge on the bench here, and he is now in the game. Trip Holly, the freshman, has seen some time this year, seeing his first time of the afternoon now. He's in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. He's got Rodriguez set up directly to his left, and it'll be a timeout for the Fordham offense. They will want to seemingly figure it out. They'll take a little break, so will we. 16-3, Merrimack leads, 14-20 to go in this game. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Will Talent. And I'm Evan Harkin. We're 2 of your hosts for NFL Friday, WFUV Sports' exclusive NFL podcast. From breaking down the weekly slate to fantasy football pickups, we've got you covered on all things around the NFL. Stay tuned for our hosts' weekly picks as they compete against each other all season long. Football is here, and so is NFL Friday.
10 seconds
Welcome back to Moglia Stadium here, the home of Fordham Football. Fordham Football trailing the Merrimack Warriors 16-3 with 14:20 to go in this fourth quarter. And Griff, it has not panned out necessarily as this Fordham team has wanted to over this afternoon so far.
No, definitely not. And I just want to go back to that play before the timeout call that left Jack Coffey a little shaken up. I mentioned maybe trying to replicate, get sucked into the game of Aiden Pereira running the ball out wide there. But the thing is, when you're the quarterback there in these close games, you don't need to take hits like that, Chris. It was a net negative there, either 0 yards, just throw the ball away, and we saw he let Dean Houston get the hit on him, and that is going to lead to just this confusion, and it leads, again, you want to minimize the amount of wear and tear on your body in these matches. I think just those quick thinking plays could be interesting. And another development now, it looks like we probably will not see Julius Luffridge for the rest of this game, as he has officially traded his white hat for a neon green one, and he'll be out there calling plays.
Yeah, he'll be out there calling plays along with some other substitutions on the bench. It'll be the Fordham offense coming out. It'll be Louis Capaldi. He came out for a second and is immediately replaced by Trip Holly. Maybe thought he can do it and decided against it. Trip Holly in there over center for the Rams. He'll move into the shotgun. Rodriguez to his left. Receivers on both sides. 2 receivers out wide on both sides. 3rd and 19. 3rd and long. Ball on Merrimack's 45. Drops back to pass. He moves up in the pocket and is absolutely crushed. Once again, this pass rush of the Warriors getting after it. This time, DJ Frazier. And this Fordham offense, once again, is going to have to punt it away.
Yeah, I think we might have seen there the pocket presence that might be accustomed to a younger, more inexperienced guy like the freshman Trip Holly. Just steps up directly into that pressure there. And again, almost like an Aiden Pereira sort of look-alike contest a little bit.
Once again, another punt for this Ram team. It's going to be Will Hazlitt, the 6'1", 212 senior, to kick it off right around the Fordham 30. He does, and it'll bounce around, stop finally at around the 37. That's where Pereira in this Warrior offense will pick it up.
Yeah, punter lovers, shield your eyes. This has not been the best game for kicking. Obviously, the wind playing a big factor to this one, but they've been low, arcing, short punts as Merrimack has the opportunity here in their first drive of the fourth quarter in good field position to potentially try to close this one out with a dagger touchdown, I think, Chris.
1st and 10. Pereira going to start this one off for the Warriors. Ball on the Warrior 37. Pereira in the shotgun. Receivers to the left and right. Leggett directly to his right. It's faked handoff now. Going to run, scrambling left to the numbers, past the 40, and finally getting tripped up at the 46. Another big play from Aiden Pereira with his legs.
Well, once again, I feel like I have deja vu. It's Aiden Pereira reading the pocket very well, creating that separation, getting the run outside, but once again, it's Jackson Barletta tripping him up there for the Fordham Rams. Jackson Barletta, 12 tackles last week against Georgetown.
Wow.
Doing a great job, so he seems to be one of the ones keeping them in this game, Chris.
Ball on the Merrimack 44, 2nd and 3 for the Merrimack offense. Pereira has it in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. It's going to be Corbett to the right of him receiving, not receiving it. It's going to be Pereira running it on the option. He's past the 30, finally getting tripped up at around the 23. Seems like Aiden Pereira, one-man wrecking crew for this Warrior offense, and he gets them right around the red zone.
Well, Pereira's already beaten his previous rushing yards record this season. Got 104 yards in that third quarter, continuing to expand on that now, but he was juking out there like a video game character, Chris, just letting the defenders fall at his feet, getting a big gain.
Ball on the Fordham 23, 1st and 10. 3 receivers to the left. Corbett set up directly to his right. He'll hand it off to his right up the middle. He'll bounce out left, making it past a few defenders and finally getting taken down around the 14. It's going to set up a 2nd and short for the Merrimack offense.
I think a flag on the play, the official there on our sideline closest to us indicating that it's going to be called back for a holding on Merrimack. So once again, the best Fordham player coming up clutch for this Rams team as this Merrimack team is pushed back by 10 yards, but continually they are finding that momentum, finding that presence, keeping up that quick offense, and it is doing them wonders so far in this afternoon's matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be the Merrimack offense moving back slightly now out of the red zone, still on the Fordham side of the field. It's going to be set up on the 33, on Fordham's 33, 1st and 20 for the Warrior offense. Pereira in the shotgun, one receiver to the left, two on the right. Corbett setting up directly to his right. He'll receive the handoff up the middle, and he'll get stopped almost immediately, setting up second down.
Yeah, that one going nowhere, Chris. Just trying to maybe get a quick chunk yardage play so they can set up for an easier second down. But great job by the defensive front of the Fordham Rams once again, stuffing that interior part of the line.
It's going to be another long play here for the Warrior offense. 2nd and 17, ball on the Fordham 30, 11:22 to go in this game, 16-3. Merrimack leads Fordham. Pereira in the shotgun, one player to his left in the slot, two players out wide to his right. Corbett to his right, doesn't receive it, decides to pass, gets it over the middle. That one is tight end Jared Dunn, and it'll pick up a few yards, kind of transitioning them into third down.
Yeah, another reception there for Jared Dunn. Merrimack's kind of been using their tight ends a little bit utilitarianly, if that is even a word, Chris, but using them in the fullback position, lining them up out wide, keeping them close. Great job of staying creative on offense.
3rd and 9, ball on the Fordham's 22. Pereira in the shotgun, one receiver to the left, three to the right, including tight end Jared Dunn. Corbett directly to his left. Big third down here for both teams. Pereira drifting out right from the pressure, decides to just throw it out of bounds, and it will be an incomplete pass for this Warrior team. Big stop for the Fordham defense.
Yeah, and that's going to get called back again for another holding there on the Warriors. It was number 77, the sophomore Amir Johnson, just falling on the defensive end for the Fordham Rams, John Scott III. So Merrimack now was in a really good position, but they continue to back themselves up with simple mistakes.
Now we'll see if it's going to be declined. It'll stay on 4th down. The third down stop good enough for Coach Joe Conlon, and he'll get the Merrimack punting unit on the field and hopefully get his Fordham offense with some good field position.
Yeah, hopefully. I'd wonder if they're going to attempt the kick with the lead here, the field goal. Liam Davis can hit from this range, and I believe they will, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of them trotting out there. Cole Peterson. Not Cole Peterson. Liam Davis is going to try and take this one as long as 53. This one is around 48. He'll take that one. A flag called almost immediately. It's going to be a timeout called. Or actually, yeah, a timeout is called. It's going to be right around a 47-yard kick. As I just said, his career-long Liam Davis is 53s, 76% on field goals for the year, 13 for 17, and he's almost perfect at extra points, 24 for 25 there. Around the middle of the field here on this kick, should feel relatively comfortable.
Yeah, and we saw the timeout might have happened, but he still got that kickoff, and it went straight through the middle of the upright, so he's got to repeat that again. Sometimes, though, obviously the phrase icing the kicker can get in your own head here. 13 for 17, I think any kicker might want to tighten up that completion percentage a little bit, but nonetheless a reliable kicker that will look to recreate his previous kick on this one.
Yeah, once again, it's going to be Liam Davis, the senior, out of Johannesburg, South Africa, trying to give his squad a 16-point lead, trying to make this one larger than a 2-touchdown lead. He'll set up right inside the 30. 47-yarder. He'll let it go. It's a low kick, and it doesn't sneak in, just left of the pylons. No good, and Fordham maybe getting the big break they've needed all afternoon long.
Yeah, it's cold out, and he just got iced there. He good the first time, couldn't quite get it the second time, looked a lot less confident, had a lot less strength on that falso left, and that is a blessing for this Fordham Rams team because instead of 19-3, it's now 16-3, and it keeps them alive in this one as they get the ball on offense, but They've struggled in this one, Chris. Only 3 points to show for it. They got 10 minutes to make something happen. It's got to start on the offensive side of the ball.
It's got to start on the offensive side of the ball. The Fordham Rams haven't seen much productivity from their offense all afternoon long. They had a decent drive with good field position that got them a field goal. That's the 3 that's on the scoreboard right now. But they need similar momentum offensively in that drive for at least these next couple. I don't know necessarily what this quarterback situation is. Jack Coffey coming in and out with an injury. Between him and Trip Holly, we're not really sure what we're going to see out there. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good component for this Fordham team.
No, I think, like we mentioned, what Coach Mike Ginnetti wanted to do this season with the Merrimack Warriors, have that continuity. That's something that this Rams team has been lacking all season long, but particularly in this game. We saw they got points on the board after a big chunk play from Mekhi Felton. I'd like to see them look for those big momentum-shifting moments in this one. Utilize your receivers. Garrett Cody, 6'3", 200 pounds. Cole Thornton, 6'3", 190 pounds. These are big receivers. Throw it up to them. I'd like to see them make a play, but you got to give your QB time once again, and that's been the tale of the afternoon, Chris.
Yeah, Capaldi has really received heat, especially earlier in this game. It felt like he didn't really get any time to himself in that pocket. Mekhi Felton, someone who maybe doesn't have the size of the rest of his receiving core, but he may have just had the biggest offensive play for the Rams so far this afternoon, his long reception. He's going to be another deep threat for this Fordham team. They, along with the subtraction of Julius Luffridge, need to come together and compromise on what they have.
Exactly. There's nothing's going to change. This is the last game of the season. You're working with a lot of the guys you've been working with all season. You know what you got. So try to string something together. Try to execute here.
It's going to be Jack Coffey back out there for the Rams at quarterback. It'll be Jacob Rodriguez set up directly behind him. And now he'll actually move back to the shotgun. Rodriguez shifting to right next to him. 2 receivers to the right, 1 far out to the left. Rodriguez receives the handoff. Actually, Capaldi keeps it on the keeper. He'll get past the 25, ends up getting pushed out around the 28. And more laundry, more penalties on the field for this Warrior team.
Interested to see what they call here. Fordham opting for a run play again shows the lack of confidence potentially in that passing game, as they need to have these big plays.
It's going to be holding on the offense for the penalty. It's going to come back. It's going to be a penalty for this Fordham team, moving deeper in their own territory now. Still 16-3, Merrimack lead. 10-16 to go in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, killer for this Rams team once again. Simple mistakes, Chris.
It's going to be a 1st and 15 after that penalty. Ball on the Merrimack 17. Capaldi moving to the shotgun. Rodriguez directly to his left. 1 receiver to the right, 2 far receivers out to the left. Capaldi takes the snap, fakes the handoff, now looks to pass, throw over the middle right through the hands of Cole Thornton, and that play incomplete.
Yeah, nearly moment there. It hits off the fingertips, can't quite connect. I think there's been a lack of chemistry so far, not been on the same page. Capaldi and his wide receivers, just trying to get something together, and it's been a struggle so far.
It's going to be 2nd and 15. Ball on the Warrior 17. Capaldi in the shotgun, fakes the handoff, looks left, looks to throw it, ends up keeping it and getting tackled just a yard or 2 ahead of the line of scrimmage. Just not losing any negative yards there.
Yeah, I thought for a second he might have been brought down there, but it was a good block to cover a quarterback by number 73, the sophomore, Hank Perry, his first year as a starter, keeping them from getting another big demoralizing play, but now they got a long 3rd down ahead.
Capaldi sets up in the shotgun, 3rd and 15, ball on the Merrimack 17. 3 receivers to his left. Rodriguez set up in the halfback position right to his left. Now shifting over to the right. Capaldi looking down a long 3rd down completion. Capaldi throwing it over the middle to Mekhi Felton. It's picked and intercepted. Merrimack moving the other way inside the Fordham 10. Another big turnover for this Warrior team. And once again, the Fordham offense just not able to build any momentum.
That's what happens, Chris, when the entire defense knows what you're going to do. No Fordham has to pass it there in the 3rd and long situation. And it's the cornerback 23, Deion Houston, who had the big hit against Capaldi earlier on this drive. Gets the interception, reads the quarterback well, tips it up in the air, comes down with it and gets a solid return to set up his offense in great field position, his second interception on the year.
The 5'9" senior Dion Houston, 31 tackles on the year, only one interception up till this point. He just got his second, and what a time to get it, Griff.
Definitely what a time, and Merrimack now has the opportunity to put this game away once and for all.
It's going to be Merrimack setting up on the Fordham 7-yard line, deep in their territory. It's going to be a handoff to the left. Corbett going to get a few yards, stopped right before the 5-yard line. Call it the 6.
Yeah, brought down there by Sam Burkle. Highlights of his season so far. He had a block kick against Central Connecticut State, but I would have liked to see Corbett bounce that one outside. I think he had the space, trying to keep it in the middle, and that allows Burkle to get on the back of him.
It's going to be 2nd and 6, ball on the Fordham 6. This Merrimack team really threatening. Pereira in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the right, 1 back to his left. He's going to get it and take it, running left, trying to get past a few defenders, gets stopped right along the 2 to 3 yard line, and that'll set up a close 3rd down play for the Warriors.
He would have had a touchdown, but he met his arch nemesis in this game, Jackson Barletta, who is no stranger to a solid open field tackle, able to bring him down there. Fordham trying to minimize the damage as of right now.
It's going to be 3rd down for this Merrimack team. 3rd and 3, ball on the Fordham 3. 3rd and goal. 2 receivers to the right. Corbett set up directly to the right of Pereira. Big 3rd and goal, 7:46 to go, 16-3 lead for Merrimack. Corbett now going in motion left, faked it to Corbett, ran it up the middle, and Pereira finds multiple Fordham defenders immediately, and they get the stop.
Yeah, hard hit there by Sam Burkle, the defensive tackle. And this is big now as Merrimack will walk their field goal unit out because 19-3, if the field goal is good, is still a 2-possession game, Chris, although Fordham would have to get 2 touchdowns in both of the conversions. Still within reach, though.
It's going to be Liam Davis taking this one. He missed the last one, wide left. See if he can complete this one. He'll kick this one from right past the 10-yard line, and it's good. Once again, Liam Davis. It's good. Now a 19-3 lead. As Griff said, still technically a 2-possession game, but this Warrior team still creating that distance.
Yeah, definitely. We mentioned the field goal there by Liam Davis. We talked about his excellent PAT record. That field goal a little bit more like a PAT, more in his wheelhouse there. But, yeah, it is a 2-possession game, and I know that's what the coaches are still saying for the Fordham Rams. It's still within reach. You can still do it, but the momentum just feels off right now. But who knows, if the Fordham Rams had come out here, run it down the throats, drive down the field, put up a statement, that could shift the momentum completely on its axis, Chris.
Yeah, it could definitely shift the momentum. This Fordham team in desperate need of a shifting of momentum. This Merrimack team coming off 2 losses on the year, 2 games under 500, 4-6. Their first year as an FCS independent, one of only 2 FCS independents. They've underperformed, especially at the tail end of this year, to finish it in this sort of fashion. Definitely would feel sweet for Coach Giannetti and his squad.
Yeah, definitely, especially making your record on the end of the year, 5-6 overall. Not exactly what you're hoping for when you go into the year, but still more respectable than I think what Fordham could be eyeing at if they are on the wrong side of this result. A 2-10 season is definitely not what they were intending. Came in as the third-ranked team in the Patriot League preseason poll. Struggled with injuries, struggled with some offense, struggled with defense at times. Struggle has been the theme. But looking to bounce back, this is the last drives of the season. These are the last possessions that they will have of this year. End on a high note. Take a note from Coach Giannetti on Merrimack's. End the way you want to continue and start the next season.
Fordham trailing 19-3 here, deep in the 4th quarter of their final game of the 2024 season. Just under 7 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. 16-point deficit. The Fordham Rams, in a year that's had a lot of disappointment, they would hate for this to be the way it ends, with even more disappointment.
Yeah, definitely going to want to get a touchdown on the board, Chris. I think that's the big thing, is you don't want to go out being held to just a field goal. See what they can do here as KJ Reed is back to return.
KJ Reed is back to return for this Fordham team on the Warriors side. It's Liam Davis kicking it off once again. It's going to be KJ Reed set up right on the 5-yard line, his own 5-yard line. So ready to get this one away. Going right to left on the kick. Davis sends it off, and Reed will let it fly right over his head into the end zone, and the Fordham offense will set up at the 25.
Yeah. Fordham offense here, this is it. Chris, this is the drive. This is what you have to create something. And it's hard, though, because as we mentioned with the Deion Houston interception, Merrimack knows what you're going to do. You got to get those big plays. You got to pass the ball downfield, and you struggle with that all game, but you got to fight through adversity. You got to say, okay, yes, you guys know what we're doing, but we're going to execute it that well that you guys aren't going to be able to stop it, Chris.
Yeah, this Fordham offense now going to want to operate well. This Capaldi offense formation starts with him at the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides. Rodriguez to his left, 1st and 10, ball on their own 25. Capaldi looks right to throw, gets it in. That one to Cole Thornton, and it will be a few yards on the completion.
If they snapped that quicker, Chris, there was a defensive miscommunication. Mackay Felton had no one on him, and knowing that speed, if he just explodes up that seam, Capaldi might have been able to put a ball on him.
Felton tried on multiple different long balls here today, one of them being successful. Capaldi in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his left. Rodriguez set up to his right, drops back to pass, and he's smothered once again in the backfield. This Warrior team gets another sack, and once again, Brandon Roberts getting to the quarterback and finally getting his first sack.
Yeah, when Capaldi looked up there to throw, he saw Brandon Roberts freight train running right at him, been a major factor on this D-line since the 2020 season, joining the likes of other players in his defensive unit with 40 games.
4 tackles for losses on the season, that being his first sack on the season. Capaldi will set up once again, 3rd and 12, a long way to go on this 3rd down conversion. Capaldi in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Rodriguez set up directly to his right. Capaldi drops back to pass, looks left and moves up, decides to scramble now past the 30, getting pushed out around the 31.
Good job there getting out of bounds, shielding his body after what happened the last time he tried to scramble. But now, 4th down, Chris. If they don't get it, it'll allow Merrimack to try and run down that clock, waste the time, try to take this game to the death. Big play here. I'm interested to see what Coach Conlon and the rest of the coaching staff draws up.
Yeah, Fordham has to go for it. 4th and 3, ball on their own 32. 5:18 to go, 19-3 deficit. Capaldi in the shotgun, looking to pass, passes it in the right flat to Rodriguez, and it's intercepted off of the pads of Rodriguez and into the hands of the Merrimack defense, and another interception.
Well, it's the linebacker number 31, Rajon Cooper, keeping his eye on the ball for his first interception of the year. As you mentioned, Chris, just rocketed at Rodriguez, deflects straight off his pads into the air and hauled in by the linebacker from Ashbury Park, New Jersey.
There's some referee discussion. Not sure if this one's going to be called. It's going to be an offsides call. That one being on number 44, Nicholas Lennon, the senior D-end. And that'll move up the Fordham Rams. As Griff has been saying all afternoon, the penalties have been their best player, most productive player. And now they find themselves on their own 37. 1st and 10, Capaldi with Rodriguez to his left in the shotgun. Looking to pass, avoiding the pressure. Now finally getting sacked. He'll finally get taken down around the 27. And another sack, Griff, for this Warriors defense.
Yeah, that's Tyler Levy getting his first full sack on the season. Fordham got a gift with the penalty, but they're still just struggling to capitalize. Even when something is dropped directly in their lap, they can't quite do something with it.
2nd and 18 on Fordham's 29. 4:32 to go. Capaldi in the shotgun. Got Parks to his right. 2 receivers on both sides stacked. Parks is going to get it going left. He'll go up the left side of the line. Finally get tackled past right around the 35.
Still going.
Taken down by Nicholas Lennon.
Opting for the run on 2nd and long with 4 minutes left on the clock. Down by 16, Chris. Definitely an interesting play call there as the Rams got to go quickly here if they want to have any shot of getting back into this one.
Yeah, 3rd and 11 on Fordham's 36. Capaldi in the shotgun. Parks to his right. 2 receivers out wide on both sides. Capaldi looking on his sideline for more direction. Bunch of claps from him in the backfield. Now eventually takes the snap. Looking to pass. Stuffed once again in the backfield. A third time. Jay Thompson, the senior DN, getting to the quarterback. A trifecta of sacks for him.
Yeah, holy trinity of sacks for Jay Thompson. They are finding a way to get to the quarterback. Capaldi has just been lit up time and time again, play in, play out, and the Rams are going to kick it here.
Now 4th down for the Fordham Rams, 4th and 22. They have to kick it. They're deep in their own territory on the 25. It's going to be Will Haslett to kick this one off for the Rams. He'll stand right on their own 10. Back to receive this kick right on the Warrior 35, Gary Rosemond. He's going to let it drop. It drops way ahead of him, right on the left number of the 50, and that's where the Warriors offense will start.
Yeah, Chris, interesting. I know you have to punt it there. You're deep in your own end zone. You don't want Merrimack, if they stop you there, to be able to run up the score. But also, last game of the season, you're still within 2 possessions. I know it's a long shot, and your offense hasn't been performing to the best of their ability this afternoon, but go for it. There's nothing to lose. There is nothing to lose, because now Merrimack is going to run down the clock to the best of their ability. Let Capaldi let it fly. Who knows? Something might have happened, Chris.
19-3. Merrimack still holding on to that lead. 2:53 to go in this 4th quarter. The Merrimack offense will take over. Pereira in the shotgun on the 50-yard line. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. It's going to be Jermaine Corbett to his right. He's going to hand it off to him. He'll move left through the left side of the line. Couldn't quite get anywhere, and he stopped right around the 49 for a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, Fordham, I don't think is going to use their timeouts right now. I think they're going to let this play run out, as Merrimack has put up a strong offensive showing on the day. Great job both in the air, but particularly on the ground in their run game.
It's going to be on the Merrimack 49. Pereira in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides. He's got Jermaine Corbett, the senior, set up directly left of him. More time ticking off the clock. Just a few seconds till the 2-minute warning. Corbett taking it right up the middle and is stopped almost immediately at the line of scrimmage. That will take us to the 2-minute warning. 19-3, Merrimack leads. 2 minutes left in this game. Merrimack has really controlled in the second half, and Griff, for lack of a better term, they've taken care of business.
Yeah, taking care of business is a good way to put it, Chris. Whether it's on the defensive side of the ball, taking care of Jack Capaldi, or the offensive side of the ball, taking care of that run game. They have been dominant on either side this afternoon, Chris. Just doing a great job of doing everything they can to the best of their ability. And this Merrimack team, it's a good way to end the season for them, because they can keep their hands held high, that they are doing a good job coming out, keeping the momentum as they end this season so far. Season not quite over yet, but it's looking like it's winding down here as they have a 16-point lead at the 2-minute warning here.
2-minute warning, 19-3. Merrimack, in a lot of ways that we described what the Fordham Rams need to do in this second half, that's what they've done. They've taken control. They've had the run game as a real anchor for their offensive production. They've opened it up to the pass game several times, and overall just a balance coming from this Warrior offense that has gotten them where they are today.
No, a nice balance for sure. When you set up the run game, you can go to the pass. They've been having some success over the middle, and when they don't go over the middle in the passing game, they've been running it up the gut, sometimes struggling a little bit, but then they've been able to bounce it outside. And Aiden Pereira particularly has been so dynamic. He's got over 100 yards passing, over 100 yards on the ground, keeping this Fordham defense on their toes, being a real nuisance for them. And he's allowed so many almost second chance opportunities for this Warriors squad.
This Fordham team in there, as we said, last game of the season, some seniors and grad students very well playing their last game in this Fordham red, and obviously what better style than these black uniforms. Obviously you'd want to go out on a win, but I guess the black uniforms will work as a compromise.
How about this?
Yeah, Griff, what do we got going on that far sideline over there?
Well, they were playing the cha-cha slide, and Merrimack's entire sideline, they could be a dance team, Chris. They were in sync. They they were moving, obviously happy about the way this one's going.
The kick returner, Gary Rosemont Jr., he's got some moves over there on that far sideline. It's going to be Pereira setting it up for the Merrimack offense on the Merrimack 49, 3rd and 11. Pereira from the shotgun, moving right and tackled right in front of the line of scrimmage. Some flags out there, laundry all over the field. We'll see who this one's on. It's a personal foul, face mask on the defense. It's going to move this Merrimack defense up the field past the 50.
Yeah, that should do it, Chris. Just for a second, Fordham thought they might get the ball back there. Now a first down opportunity off the personal foul there, the face mask call. But we mentioned Merrimack sideline dancing, Fordham sideline couldn't be more still. I think that's emblematic of how both teams will feel leaving this one tonight, or this afternoon, excuse me.
1st and 10, ball on the Fordham 36. Pereira in the shotgun once again. He'll have 2 receivers on both sides. Jermaine Corbett directly to his right. Cade Callahan working as a fullback in the backfield. 1:32 on this clock. He fakes the run to Corbett, throws it over the middle. It is caught. A fantastic catch made by Jared Dunn over the middle, and he's got this Warrior offense within the 20 in the red zone.
Yeah, getting the big guy involved, the 6'3", 250-pound tight end, Jared Dunn. He can move well for his size, and now with 1:20 left on the clock, I wonder if this Merrimack team is going to try to run up the score or if they're just going to end this one here.
It's 1:13 and counting on this fourth quarter clock. 19-3, Merrimack leads. Ball on the Fordham 16, 1st and 10. Pereira directs his line in offense, 2 receivers on both sides, 1 receiver on both sides. Jermaine Corbett's up directly to his right. This Merrimack team not looking like they're going to kneel it out. 50 seconds and counting. Finally snapped to Corbett right up the middle. He's stopped well short of the line of scrimmage, and that'll set up a long second down.
Yeah, they're just letting this clock wind down now. Thought for a second they might go for the pass, really try to rub it in the face of this Fordham Rams team, but they just dish it off to Corbett. Gets taken down after a very, very short gain, actually a nothing gain, but then they're now officially starting to celebrate on that Merrimack sideline, jumping up and down. It almost looks like the Wisconsin Badgers stadium there, jumping around, and they're coming out of this one feeling good, Chris.
Griff, as an independent first-season head coach, is the Gatorade bath appropriate? They're not technically playing to win something, so you can do the Gatorade bath.
You can do the Gatorade bath, but I will say, Chris, you and I are wearing our jackets up in the booth. If I was Coach Eddie and I got the Gatorade bath, I would be so upset.
Fantastic point. That's going to be our final kneel from Pereira, and both sidelines are going to dump onto the field. That's it. 000 on the scoreboard. The Merrimack Warriors come into Fordham in the culmination of both teams this season and get a win 19-3, and it was an impressive one this afternoon from the Warriors.
It definitely was. I think solid on both sides of the ball. Every player doing their job. They had little moments of individual brilliance, whether that's the interceptions by Trey Jordan III or Dion Houston, or the individual running and passing performance of Aiden Pereira. They mixed everything so well, did a great job attacking the quarterback defensively. It was an all-out solid performance there for the Warriors.
That's it for us here at Moglia Stadium. We're going to send it back to the studio crew. We're going to have a little chat with them in a little bit. But first, I want to thank everyone who helped us with this broadcast today. Caleb Stein on the producing role. It was the engineer of Gabby Price. Highlights was George Sfugatakis. Of course, I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner, Griff Stevenson. We had a fantastic time. We hope you did as well. Fordham loses 19-3 over the Merrimack Warriors in their final game of the season here from Moglia Stadium in the Bronx. With that, we send it back to the Rose Hill studio for the post-game report.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Well, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for the Fordham Rams football season here in 2024. A final record of 2-10 as they drop the finale to Merrimack 19-3. And before we talk to the guys, Frank, once again, a very lackluster offensive second half for the Rams.
Way to put it, Will. Seriously, nothing we haven't seen before, but obviously I can't wait to hear what those two have to say as they were boots on the ground. But like you had said, beating the dead horse at this point, lackluster all throughout today.
Well, let's bring those guys in. Let's talk to the guys that saw the game with their own eyes. We heard their wonderful, wonderful call and heard everything that went down. Griff, Chris, how you guys doing? Excellent job today, and thanks for talking with us for a little bit.
Thank you, Griff. We appreciate it. Thank you, Will. Griff is next to me. We were both making our football debuts today here in the culmination of the season. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I can probably speak for both of us and say we had a fantastic time, even if the Fordham performance maybe didn't match that.
Yeah, even if the game is a loss for the Fordham Rams, it seems like this season, no matter what, it's going to be an interesting one at least. So a fun one to call for sure, but definitely a lot to be ironed out on this Fordham Rams team heading in to a new season. I'm interested to hear what the both of you have to ask us.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about that upcoming season. We'll save it for later. I want to talk about that pass game, though, the very inactive pass game for the Fordham Rams today. Capaldi, just 12 passing attempts in the air today. What made the passing game just a complete non-factor for the Rams?
Well, I think a lot of times, Will, especially in the culmination down the stretch of this game, there's a lot of QB run plays or designed run plays from the backfield that made you really think that there wasn't a lot of hope, there wasn't a lot of faith in the Fordham sideline in their pass game. It just seemed like they were creatively trying to get out of any sort of pass they had to make, trying to get out of any sort of situation where they had to pass, and it felt immediate in a lot of places, especially with a guy like Capaldi who can use his arm down the field. We saw it in an earlier play with Mackay up the near sideline, and we see the capability, we see the potential there, but it was a mix maybe of Capaldi not quite getting all the opportunities, a real lackluster pass protection, almost feeling like he was getting pressured every play in his dropbacks because he was mostly in shotgun throughout that game. So a mix of the pass protection not being what it needed to, maybe not receiving the full opportunity that he did, and also just a maybe over-reliance in the run game.
Yeah, I think to echo what Chris said, he didn't really have the opportunity to throw. Their defensive line did a really, really good job. But they also, like Chris mentioned as well, there's a lack of confidence, it seemed, in that passing game. As you mentioned, he only had 12 passing attempts, not wanting to get the ball downfield. And I would like to give credit, though, to the defensive backs of the Merrimack Warriors, particularly Gary Rosemond Jr., Trey Jordan, and Grant Jackson. Trey Jordan, the free safety with the interception. They did a really good job. They were all over these Fordham wide receivers, despite having a 5-inch disadvantage in height, especially against guys like Garrett Cody and Cole Thorne, but they kept them quiet. It was almost the Mighty Mouse, Mekhi Felton, that got anything going for the Rams, and I think that's just a testament to how solid defensively this Warriors squad was.
And just to give some love to my big boys as well, Nicholas Len and Jay Thompson, they were absolutely fantastic. Both play in defensive end roles for this Warrior team, and it felt like their presence was felt the entire game, and they really made Jack Capaldi's life a living hell back there.
Well, obviously it doesn't take a rocket scientist to point out what you guys said, that there were a multitude of struggles on Fordham offense. However, it looks like we saw the opposite from Merrimack, with quarterback Pereira leading over 130 rushing yards for his team. So I wonder if it comes down to this sort of thing. Do you guys think that this was a lights-out performance from Pereira and the crew, or was this just a total defensive breakdown on Fordham's behalf?
I think the Fordham defense honestly could leave with their heads held high. I think they did what they needed to do, and I think a lot of perhaps the momentum of Merrimack could stem out of the fact that Fordham wasn't able to get their offense going. But it's hard if you're the Fordham defense because Pereira, we mentioned it before the game, we continue to hammer it home throughout. He's a real dual threat quarterback, 100-plus yards through the air, 100-plus yards on the ground. He seemed to have amazing pocket presence, just reading that pressure. Fordham only got to him once, and it was a cornerback blitz there by Niall Perkins. So he just did a great job of keeping mobile and using that versatility to create those open looks. So I think I would lean more so that it was just a great standout performance by the quarterback, Aiden Pereira.
Yeah, this defense for Fordham gave up 19 points. I'm not sure how they could have given up less. I mean, they played a very good game of football, whether it was turnovers for the Fordham offense or just general bad field position. They definitely were put in tough spots all afternoon, but only 19 points on that scoreboard. For a lot of those situations they were in, I think that's a good tally.
Well, guys, one final question for you guys. And it's a broad question, because where do you go from here? You have a season wrapping up like this one did, completely underwhelming, did not meet expectations, lots of star players going down early and often to season-ending injuries. But when you have the season wrap up like this one, as a program, what are your next steps? Where do you go and how do you recover?
Well, I think it's tough. As you mentioned, it's a pretty broad question, and there's a lot of time between now and when they open the season on August 30th at Boston College, which that's not going to be an easy game by any means. But I think what you got to do is you have to reevaluate, I think, where you're coming from in the coaching and game plan standpoint, because Fordham did manage to get a lot of takeaways in a lot of these games, and there was a lot of close games that they lost. As I mentioned earlier, 3 of their league losses were by 5 points or less. That's a big swing if they win those games, and it just seems like they were stagnant on offense, and that doesn't all fall on the players. I think a lot of that can boil down to their play selection and their game plan. So got to really reevaluate the overall sort of game plan and culture that they're trying to build here at the Fordham Rams football program.
Yeah, and more specifically on the offensive side of the ball, between grad students and players who may leave after their senior year, it may look very different than it did this year. So just kind of adapting, staying with the time, not falling behind, especially in terms of the conference with the other Patriot League members. That's going to be the most important thing for Joe Conlon and his squad going forward.
Well, guys, excellent work today. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. We'll see you guys soon back here at the Rose Hill Studios. So let's keep rolling along with this post-game show now. We'll hop into a couple of highlights as we recap this second half here at the Rose Hill Studios. So a slow burning start to the second half. It saw Merrimack go 84 yards on 13 plays in over 9 minutes as Jalen McDonald, after hauling in a massive 24-yard grab, found the end zone for a touchdown from Aiden Pereira.
3rd and goal, ball on the Fordham 12, 9-3 Merrimack lead. Pereira in the shotgun, faking the handoff, going for the pass, and a catch! An acrobatic catch made by Jalen McDonald in the back left section of the end zone.
The Rams, as we were saying before, with their offense and specifically their passing, it wasn't quite there. Couldn't quite get anything going once again through the air in the second half as a second pass was intercepted by the Merrimack secondary. This time it was Deion Houston with the grab.
Capaldi throwing it over the middle to Mekhi Felton. It's picked and intercepted. Merrimack moving the other way inside the Fordham 10. Another big turnover for this Warrior team.
Well, that was it for the second half. Once again, not a lot going on as we were noting in the first half. A tough season for the Rams. We'll talk a little bit and put a bow on this year after a scoreboard update, the final one of the football season from Frank Spicuzza.
All right, thank you, Will. Taking one last glance at the scoreboard. After today's season finale 19-3 loss against the Warriors, the Fordham Rams finished their anticlimactic season at 2-10. In a similar fashion to Merrimack, Lehigh blasts Lafayette by a definitive score of 38-14. Following suit of Lafayette, Georgetown is trumped by Holy Cross by a whopping 34 points in their 34-0 shutout. Finishing out today's Patriot League perspective is the rumble between Colgate and Bucknell, a game in which the Bison hold a tight 34-27 lead over the Raiders with just over 10 to go in the fourth. On a larger scale, Ohio State halts the Hoosiers today by a hefty margin and final of 38-15. While today marks a disheartening end to Fordham's football season, hopes remain high for the Rams basketball and water polo teams. On the professional level, Tri-State football, hockey, and basketball continue to create electrifying highlights one week after the next. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Frank Spicuzza.
Thanks a lot, Frank. Really appreciate it, man. Let's talk about this game now. Let's do a little wrap and put a bow on this season. Right. So with this loss, the Fordham Rams, as you were saying, Frank, they drop to 2-10 on the season. It's the first double-digit loss season since 2011. They went 1-10 back in 2011, 2-10 this year. It's also the first season finishing under 500 since 2019. that the last time that they went under 500, they had a record of 4-8, and that was Joe Conlon's second season. So it's been quite some time. Definitely, that's been the narrative of the season, Frank. Injuries, lackluster play, and just not what you were looking for in terms of a football season for the Rams.
Jeez, yeah, that's putting it lightly for sure. I was certainly searching for the opposite, but the opposite is not what I found. Although there's a hefty handful of negatives to look at from today's game, I think it's only appropriate to quote Sam Cooke and say that a change is going to come. I think with the introduction of our brand new athletic director, I think that matched with a few other moves that are going to be coming up here for the Rams football offseason, I have nothing but high hopes for the next season when it comes to The Rock.
Well, we will see what Charles Guthrie has in store for this football program and all the other programs here on campus. I want to talk about that third quarter for a brief minute here too, Frank. That, to me, I think was the dagger. Aside from what we're talking about, this lackluster play, that third quarter was the dagger for the Rams today. Merrimack, 84-yard drive, 13 plays, and they drug it out over 9 minutes. It resulted in a Jalen McDonald touchdown. But things like that, not being able to make a big play when you need to, allowing for this time of possession, it's what came back and bit the Rams fully in this game. And that third quarter, I believe, is the true testament to why they couldn't hang around longer in this one.
No doubt about it, Will. I mean, to call the third quarter a nail in the coffin is just about as accurate as you can get. If you remember during the halftime, I had mentioned that I felt the Rams were going to be turning things around in the second half here, and Capaldi was going to be lights out as he has during certain moments throughout the season. But unfortunately, nothing but the opposite was shown. Obviously, that enormous run from McDonald certainly just cemented their ever-increasing confidence that simply rose exponentially throughout the game. But that mixed with a multitude of sacks from the defense, furthering Capaldi's struggles to have time in the pocket, I think it all culminated into that dagger that you had mentioned that was the third quarter.
Well, I think a big part of that, as you're saying with the sacks, was that there was 10 of them today. The O-line, kind of a revolving door, does not make it easy. Under a lot of pressure, Capaldi's got to get rid of the ball. Not all of the moving parts were moving, as Merrimack really just kind of outplayed Fordham. Despite the score, they outplayed Fordham in just about every category. 15 first downs to Fordham's 4. 226 rushing yards to Fordham's a negative 29. 131 receiving yards to Fordham's 60. A lot going on. I do want to talk a little bit about Merrimack before we hop on and say our final goodbyes for the Fordham football season. Aiden Pereira, excellent dual threat quarterback. He had quite the game. As we were saying, Merrimack, known to run the ball. Pereira, not a lot of passing yards this year. He didn't even have over 1,000 going into this game. He had close to 500 rushing yards before this game. He finishes with going 12 for 15, extremely efficient. That's good for 80%. 131 yards and a touchdown with a long of 30 in the air, and 136 rushing yards, 8 on average, his longest run of the day being 33. And as the guys were saying over there, Frank, Pereira, the catalyst to Merrimack's victory today.
Perfectly coined term by those two up in the booth, because, that is something that I was absolutely not expecting. Although Pereira has displayed his dual threatness, if you will, throughout the entirety of this season, he certainly showed his full colors today with that outstanding stat line. Also outrushing, if you will, Corbett and his other running backs. So yet another surprising stat line that simply pads his already electric finish to this season.
Tough numbers on the Fordham side of things. Jack Capaldi, just 3 for 12 with 2 interceptions and 60 yards. He was sacked 10 different times. Just 3 receptions across the board for the Rams. One being the Mekhi Felton 50-yard bomb, and that was really all that was getting done for the Rams today. Once again, the Rams lose to the Merrimack Warriors 19-3. In the finale of the 2024 season, and the Rams, they drop to 2-10 to conclude this football season. Well, I think that's just about going to do it here in the Rose Hill Studios. It's been a wild season. We got through it all. We were there every step of the way, and it's a little emotional. The final, at least for me and our producer Caleb, our final football broadcasts as Fordham students, it's been quite the ride and really, really appreciated. But for Caleb Stein, our producer, Gabby Price, our engineer, on highlights, George Swugatakis, on play-by-play, Chris Carrino, and the color commentator, Griffin Stevenson, we thank you all for tuning in today. The sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. Can't thank him enough for all of the great opportunities he gives us. But for Frank Spicuzza, I'm Will Talent, and this has been a production of WFUV Sports.